Well, guys, thank you guys for coming again. It's a little bit different arrangement today and stuff. We're in the smaller conference room, which makes it nice too because it gives us a chance to get a little bit cozier and work on a couple things and discuss how we want to address them going forward. Since the last meeting, we've all got new handouts that we're looking at, and it's the same handout that we have on the screen. One of the things I've done, now that we've done the prioritization, we identified if it was mandated by law, if it was for the safety of the students and the staff, protection of property, or instructional need, and it was a capital outlay requirement, we categorized it. Okay, we also categorized based on if it was needed next year, or if it could be deferred for up to 2 or 3 years, or deferred up to 5 years. We went through that process. So what you see on your sheets today are just the ones, just the projects and requests for next year. All those items that were identified through category 1 through 4, okay, mandated by law, safety, protection of property, instructional need, and also identified that we needed it for the next year. So when we look at that, we put it together, we summarized it, what you'll see is that we had about 141 requests. Remember we started out with 350 requests in the beginning? We're down to about 141 requests now. Okay, remember we started out at 17 plus $1 million worth of requests? We're down to about $11 million now, $10,956,779.96. Okay, so we've done a lot of work since then. One thing I did do when we were going through this that I haven't mentioned to you guys yet and want to make sure you're all in agreement with it is we did add one more item in the list, and bear with me, but basically, for example, we had Bell Fork Elementary. We said we knew we were going to have 2 mobile classrooms. Well, going back and looking at the K3 class size mandates for elementary schools, we had a total of 8 of them that we had to be addressed, and they weren't all included in there. So what I've done in this process, let me see if I can find it. I'm just going to go ahead and modular classrooms, mobile classrooms right there. I went ahead and put in for the 8 of them. I took the Bell Fork Elementary 2 out because that's included in the 8. Okay, for $520,000. That's about $65,000 per unit is what we factor for fully loaded with furniture, for utility hookups and everything as well. Now that number may change, but that's what we've been using for an estimate in the past. So that's where, when you see that, that's what you're looking at right there. So I did make that one change since we've been gone. Any questions?
Do the handicap ramps, the one above it, does that cover for all of those?
Handicap ramps will cover for some portions of that, but for the most part, those handicap ramps are to replace existing ones that are already on site. So it's not for the new ones. The mobile classroom, $65,000, usually includes handicap ramps too.
Okay.
Does that make sense so far? So I'm going to put back in and let's see, got totals. So there we are again. So that's why we've got for a total right now $10.9 million. What's our goal today? Well, 2 things. We want to get it down to $5.4 million. Okay, and then we'd like to probably get it down right around the $3 million range, and maybe with some understanding that we want to go up to 3.8 if possible. Okay? So there's a lot of slicing and dicing to do.
Would it make sense to put all the 1As at the top so that we know that we can't cut those?
If you,
That's what I was thinking too. Like those look like.
Just so we know
That's-
that can't be
Because those are
touched.
priorities.
well,
those are
that's
priorities.
as a matter of fact, I think that's a great idea. So what we'll do is what I'm going to do is we're going to start out with the 1As, okay? And we'll look at these just to make sure you're all comfortable with what we've got. All right. remember, we have to cut this in, at least in half for the total number of requests. So for the 1As, if I'm looking at 1A, bear with me. If I can, I'm looking at $591,000. Okay, so not much of it is, of the 10.9 million request is in 1As. Okay. But as we look at it, the first thing I want to look at is Meadowview Elementary School. And that's where they need some kind of a ramp installed to access to permit wheelchairs. I know we do have some playground funding available. Is that something that we could incorporate into that funding, or?
Possibly. Yeah, we might. Depending on how many it is, we may be able to knock some of that out this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Looks like just the one at Meadowview has been the only one reported, right? So
Right.
probably looking at one or two ramps.
One of them,
if you-
so maybe you want to see if we can look at trying to get that done this year, then, if we got funding available?
Yeah.
Maureen, do you know if where we stand on that too? I know you work with them.
I'd have to double check.
I say that money's in the maintenance account,
maintenance.
and I think we left a little bit just in case for some accidents or repairs and things like that.
Okay.
So I think there may be a little bit over there still, and if it's just 2 ramps, that's.
Yeah, I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's just, that's a minimal
And
thing.
those are a playground type ramp, they're not a
Yeah.
lawn
Yeah.
ramp,
Say
they're
they're
just,
around 400 apiece.
It's like,
I think we could install
you
them.
know, over at Richlands Elementary School, how we have
Yeah,
those.
anytime we've installed the last 3 years, we've put them, they're built in.
just something to get over the ledge there.
All right,
Yep.
so let's go ahead and make that a work
It's made
order.
out of the same material.
You guys okay with that? Make it a work order?
Yep, I'll look into it.
It's the first page at the bottom.
Thank you.
Well, not next year, this year. Okay. We got modular classroom ramps and steps. We have 50,000.
That's a normal purchase, just to, try to get rid of some wooden ones.
Wanna go ahead and keep that then. All right, dumpsters.
That's- We just
We just
replaced
gotta
the
do
ones
them.
that the health department requires us to replace.
Okay, so,
And the classrooms are definitely,
right.
yeah.
Now, that may change as we look at our projections, and also there's some proposed legislation out there with the state right now that may give us some waivers. But right now, if we want to follow the law, the spirit of the law, the way it's laid out, we'll need approximately 8 more mobile classrooms. And that's not for this coming year, the 19-20 year, that's for the 2021 year. And the reason why I say that is because we need to have the funding available the year before to actually purchase them and install them, because if we get the money in July, the classrooms aren't gonna be ready in August. Okay, so there's a lead time in that process. Okay, so now we're looking at, the safety for students and staff. And when we look at that, it's about $1.6 million worth of items that we need to look at. Okay. And so the first thing is we got Morton Elementary School, additional visitor parking in front of the school. And at one time, we talked about, they say it's a safety concern. One of the things we can do is add a little bit of parking.
Yeah. As we had discussed, I told Steve what we're talking about possibly doing, so we may can go in there and do something, on a temporary basis, and, to try to help them out.
See if I can pull it up so you guys can see it too. So this area right in here, what we're looking at is if we can go ahead and prep that area for parking. Now, we may not be able to pave it yet. We'll have to see if we can get the permits and everything else, and also to see what it would cost, but we can at least get it gravelled fairly quickly and use that for additional parking. Some of this up here, we hesitate putting additional parking in over here because it's getting close to that curve right there. And I want to make sure we don't create some kind of a situation. Yeah. So we can probably add some additional parking right here, probably add another 7 to 8 cars, which is more than what they've had before. And that's what we were looking at there.
Now, would it just be that little rectangular area up there, or all that whole field area?
Well, we're looking at that. We might be able to do a little bit more.
Yeah, we had talked about taking it from all the way around.
Yeah.
Meet it at the other.
Yes, sir.
But if you do that, if they're parking there in the morning, it's probably gonna interfere with the buses coming in.
Right.
Cause they were having an issue right now in the morning times with parents shooting through there.
So I think initially what we probably want to do is start out right here and see how that works first, and then we can address it again next year if we have to as well.
Okay.
If it looks like it's working well, then we'll probably try to see if we can get it paved either this coming year or the following year after that. But
Will that work? Will that cost?
Yeah, right there, yeah, that one section right there, cause I'm getting some, barrels to put up there to try to block the traffic.
okay. So in that one, so
that cost would need to be adjusted.
5,000.
Probably so, yes, sir.
You know, and I'm just guessing. Don't, guys, if I put numbers in your mouth,
No, sir,
tell
you
me
know.
tell me if I'm off. But I'm just kinda learning from you guys, so,
You're good.
all right. Okay, security cameras, we need new and updated security cameras. And that's the ones,
Yep, they have the original 16, and they do need some more coverage on the outside. They've got mostly interior stuff there.
okay. Richlands High School gymnasium bleacher replacement. That's one we've talked about historically, we want to try to get it done. And trust me, guys, we'll be going through this, this is the first iteration. We'll be going through this several times. So you still want to leave that in there? I think we've had people fall and break bones before.
I feel like it's been on there long enough. We need to.
I won't mention who, but but we've had somebody go in there just recently and they fell and they broke some bones, so I'd like to leave that in there.
Yeah.
Do you have all the 2As captured?
What's that?
Do you have all the 2As captured?
You should-
Well, looking on the printed
They're not in
copy,
order.
well, I'm not seeing Belfork.
Belfour, that one was,
It's in progress, so
that was in progress, so that's something that,
okay. Okay, so some of the ones with notes, you didn't include those.
Right.
Okay.
okay, so,
I see. You took out the CIPs.
okay, so the Richlands High School barrier fence at rear of school. Okay, so at the rear, 300 building, 3 mobile classroom units, we were talking about putting some fencing back there.
It's really close, and they have a dog,
Yeah.
and I would say
That's probably,
better fix it before it's an issue.
okay. Rails on the home bleachers at Southwest High School. Okay, we're gonna need an engineering assessment on that. We wanna get that done. Are they, what condition are they compared to, the other high schools?
Their bleachers are old, a lot older. They don't have, like I said, the access.
Okay,
It may be that we could do something besides replace the bleachers, it's just they may lose seats too. You know, it could be you go in there and take some of those seats out to make the access wider, then you could put rails
Put a
in the
rail in the
middle
middle.
of.
okay, if we did that, Would it be $200,000?
I don't think so. We could try, we could, if we had funding, we could pursue what we could do and see how far we can get, and then next year we could try to move on. Either that or,
Do a portion, at least start in the middle of it and put some rails, so those that need the rails could go up the middle, something like that, to start with. What would be a good, what would you
we need
need?
to assess it first. We need to get a civil
Okay.
engineer to assess it and make sure that we're doing what's right and that we're following the law.
All right, so it'd still be 200,000?
I don't know what the end result will be.
If we replaced them, it'd be about 200,000.
Probably a good 200,000, maybe more. But, that would get us started.
All right. So we'll leave it there for right now.
We're
then.
there for now.
Okay, stateside elementary sidewalk. Sidewalks are needed for a path toward the neighborhood from the school. That's the one we talked about there. And it said it was $80,000, which I don't think that would that be 80,000 now? Because what we're talking about,
Right in the middle.
I don't know if we can do it or not, but if we could run the sidewalk down here and then have a crosswalk right there and down
Then you
this
have to have
way.
a sidewalk there too, as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, sidewalk right here, and sidewalk going up this way.
You'll have $50,000 or $60,000 worth of concrete
Okay,
for that. And that's not, don't need any setup, form boards or anything.
all right, well, that's fine.
So,
So we'll leave it at 80,000. Okay, is that needed for next year?
We're sending buses in there to pick up the kids. Because, it was a safety issue for us, so you got the bus going in there to pick them up.
How, I mean, what is the timeline on the projection of the development? I know,
Well, the development's, it's ongoing now. They've probably got
Oh, now.
they probably got a couple hundred houses in there now,
oh, okay.
I would say. And so out of a couple hundred houses, you're probably gonna be looking at about 40 to 50 children.
That's why I was wondering how many walkers.
Probably about
We would
40 to 50
potentially-
children right now, if you, based on ORED studies, but I haven't done a physical count with the
Sure.
school. So,
But we are providing buses.
Yes, we are.
So.
So you're
if
filling a bus in there,
I don't know the head count yet, I can get that for you.
close to it.
I would imagine,
Yeah.
we had it in the CIP for year 2. Is that something we want to change to a 2B then?
Do you think would it change the number of folks riding the bus by adding in the sidewalks? I mean, because when you think of rain and things like that anyway, they're gonna wanna ride the bus.
Well, that brings up another situation. If they've got a crosswalk there, it's not a major road. If it's not a major road, then it would become a walking zone for that area.
And we wouldn't send the bus
And
anymore,
then the bus
correct?
wouldn't, right.
And the buses wouldn't go in there.
That's another
I'd
Now,
push it
that
back
be-
even.
conversation to have.
That'll open a lot of conversations because a lot of the parents are used to having their children riding the buses now as well. And if we take that away and the first rain date comes up,
Yeah.
I will be getting a lot of phone calls, Mike will get a phone call, I think, and we're just gonna direct it to all the principals, so they all get the
Thank
phone
you.
calls.
Everybody's involved.
Of course.
But, so that's one of the things we want, even though it's not mandated that they provide bus transportation once they have a safe walkway. At the same time, though, it's already been in place, and we will get some feedback on that.
Almost need to have a community meeting.
Right.
Yeah, so I'd almost say, let's postpone
Push
this
it
one to
back.
2B,
I agree.
and that way we can do a little more due diligence on that before we get started on it. Okay, Swansboro High School fencing. needs to be some sort of fence that blocks the courtyard from the parking area.
I think if we need to put fencing, we can probably go less than that.
Yeah.
It's just, it's gonna have to be gated.
Gated.
So it's not necessarily gonna keep people out, there's gonna be a gate that can't be locked there.
Right.
And those areas between the chillers and the main building, and also the chillers and the 500 hall there. So whatever we do, there's gonna be gates there that we have to be,
Yeah.
so it really won't,
It's the only exit out of the courtyard.
it's not really gonna keep
Yeah.
But
children in or people out or vice versa.
So
It's
it's
just,
not
there's gonna be a
gonna-
gate there, so.
yeah, by
Can you pull up again?
yeah. That does bring up. And this is the area right here, so you wanna put something in here? Some kind of
Yeah, I feel like
gating?
you're gonna have to go on the outside, the chiller side,
Yes,
because the doors and that sidewalk are underneath that. awning.
Outside the chiller side being
Yeah, right there.
right
Where
here.
there's already a
It's
fence
around the chillers.
all around where the chillers are located, those three
Just
chillers
connect
that you
it to
see
the-
there. It would just,
So, is that the area that
there'd be a little area between the cafeteria and the
Okay.
chiller yard, and there'd be a little area between
So those
the
are
500
fences.
building
So where did he want
and the
the
chillers down on,
Do it now.
Where did he want the fence?
So is that a
To
breezeway?
block off that area so that no one from the parking lot can get to the courtyard. So like where the dumpsters and stuff are.
so there'd be, where your
It
hand
would
is
all be
located,
gated
right
across
up,
there.
Yeah,
there'd be a little space there, probably 10, 15 foot, and then at the other end, it'd be the same thing, between that and the shop building, vocational building.
the other end meaning,
See, there's be a small area right here, and there'll be a small area right here. Everything else, this is all fenced across
Right.
here already, but there would have to be gates put in,
Yep.
so that during a fire alarm or something, people could actually exit,
they can actually
and you
exit.
couldn't,
And
they
that-
could not keep them locked.
Yeah, well, that parking lot's used for staff and carpentry class works out there in that area outside.
So by putting the fences in, let me ask you this question, by putting the fences in then, are we accomplishing what we're trying to,
Well,
are we,
If they're
are
gonna
meeting
have
the
to stay
objectives out there?
unlocked.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I agree with Paige that if it's got to be unlocked, we're not really doing anything. But
I mean,
otherwise,
I
it's a fire
understand the
hazard.
concern.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fire hazard if we lock anything there. That's the only exit out of the courtyard, without running back
So-
into the building.
So
Okay.
like during an active shooter or something, if they had to get out of that area, we couldn't fence them and lock them in.
Correct.
And like he said, he'd have to go back through the buildings to exit, instead of coming directly, they're already outside, they would be able to come out.
All right, so I don't think we're really
I don't think we can do it.
accomplishing anything by putting that in there if it's for safety or security reasons, because we can't lock it,
Right.
Agreed.
okay? So in that process, then it would be I'm gonna change that to a 3. If it's not a safety security issue, I'm gonna change it to a 3B, if that's okay with you guys? And we'll just go back and take a look at it and see if there's other avenues to look at. Are you guys comfortable with that? Okay, Thompson, you got the paved parking lot. We talked about that, it's a 2-way, because we're getting a lot of
That's an issue.
trips and stuff, and and do you remember where we're talking about with Thompson?
It's a gravel lot, correct?
Yes, in the back.
Little fenced in area behind the playground.
So we're talking about this area right in here. Okay. And for Thompson, we said it would be about $50,000 to maybe keep that in. Replace VCT tiles in classrooms with vinyl to decrease trips and falls from uneven tiles. And we said we'd probably do it with carpet.
Probably it's like a vinyl, some type of a vinyl slick finish,
Okay.
because the floors are a little uneven, because the buildings.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, still about $30,000.
if we were to do it in stages, we probably could do less, like do some this year, do some next year, if it's an immediate need. And have you heard a whole,
So we walked that school, there was a lot of broken tile.
then we probably need to do
Okay.
it in.
All right. Wood ramp, replace wood ramp to the hut, decrease splintering and improve safety for students and staff.
I would say let's take that out, if we've already leave that 1A that we have in there to
The-
buy, to replace those, and then we can, use that funding to take care of this.
All right, so that'll be in all sites. Okay, White Oak High School sidewalk connector. So what we're talking about basically is continuing the sidewalk from here to here.
Yes, sir.
It's probably, it's probably
Says well traveled.
well-traveled, and,
Mhm.
because we do have kids coming across the road quite a bit.
That tree's not a memorial tree or anything, is it?
Also said, would that tree have to be moved?
It may have to be
Also,
moved.
Yep.
You know, we put a big old circle around it. We'll have a little circular, and little benches around the tree, so.
I think we should,
The
it's,
extra?
it's close to the cars coming in too, so I think
Yeah.
if we can push the students over a little more, that will be better.
Right. So, 15,000,
Yes, sir.
be a good price on that.
Yes, sir.
Safety and security, transportation central office, $20,000 for additional cameras. Or the NVR system.
Right.
Is this the only one that doesn't have an NVR system right now?
Yeah, Mike's on our system, on the central office right now.
And we're the only ones that, we've got all the other schools on the NVRs.
Correct.
Okay. So what we wanted to make sure of was that all the schools were addressed first before we look at doing the central office. Now, this is the last of the old systems that have to going forward to put it into the new system.
Go ahead and cut that in half. And I can work with that.
And what you'll see, when we change the numbers, I can actually show, it's highlighted in red, that way we can identify what we've had to cut already in this process. Okay, safety and security card access. Okay,
Yep, that's just to continue with our moving forward.
and how many do we have, will we have completed this year?
We will have 18, 19.
With the card access and this was to complete them out, or 12 more sites?
No, that would complete them out.
That would complete them out? All right, is this something that we want to phase in?
Finish,
You want to finish them up?
I think we need to. I mean, I think being a school that doesn't have one, I mean, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
teachers and folks are expecting it, I think we need to finish what
Mm-hmm.
we started.
Now, one of the things that people have, well, we want to be careful, because when we talk about these perimeter access systems, they're great to have. I mean, especially for the main areas where you get in and out. We do have some of the older campuses where classrooms are exposed to the outside, that these perimeter door accesses won't be there. It's still the key and lock that we have to address, okay? But for a lot of the schools that we have, that can be, that are more contiguous as far as the classrooms and have inside hallways, that works great. The others, it works good, but there's also some other processes that have to be in place too. So it's not the cure-all for everything. Okay, transportation, replacement of maintenance service trucks. Got 2A.
I would leave that, cause your vehicles, like I said, they're aging. Parts are getting obsolete.
Yeah, if
so-
you can refresh my memory, what are we talking about?
The ages were anywhere between 15 and 20 years old, and the mileage was anywhere between 175,000 to 200,000 miles on those vehicles there. And I had to take some sub trucks that we were using and put back on the road as permanent trucks, because we were needing more trucks out there.
Okay. Then you got replacement of activity buses.
They are 20 to 21 years old, over 200,000 miles on them. Our sub buses are 1989 models, so if something breaks, we put 89 models out there. You can cut it in half.
So you're looking at 2 buses instead?
Yeah, I mean, if we have to, we can cut it.
Do we
Should
still
we
get
cut-
parts for them?
As of right now, we can, for those.
Or could we cut a couple maintenance trucks back and?
You need maintenance trucks for the school system, for the work and stuff. We can
And,
cut
and
50.
even our newest trucks, our 2007 trucks are like our newest trucks. Some of the parts, like you said, you can't even buy parts to fix them anymore. And there's some of the newer, because they have some computers are in them. We've got one sitting over there we can't use because we can't get parts to make it work. And,
Okay. So I cut it down. Okay, purchase mulch for the playgrounds. That's pretty much a
That's
safety
every
issue.
day, that's
I
every
think
year
everybody
thing.
needs that.
It's every day, every year,
That's
right?
every year.
It's gonna be continuous.
Okay.
Mhm.
Air scrubbers and equipment. That's for air quality.
that's for whenever we,
I feel like,
I
I know
think we
we've
need to have
utilized
that.
them quite a bit.
And it's just the environment, I mean,
Right.
because we're
Air
on the
quality
coast
is
like this,
important and,
and we try to focus on air quality quite a bit, so.
and it's becoming,
More and more so.
more and more, and so we have a lot of equipment that we share that's out there. If we have a problem area roof leak, or if we're just cleaning the carpet, trying to get the carpet dried quicker. And so we utilize those a lot. We buy some each year, and then some fail each year. They just get, surveyed, so we need some to replace some ones that have quit also.
Okay. Custodial equipment. Got the HEPA vacuums, which is similar to what we're talking about, fans
Yes,
for
sir.
drying carpets, indoor air quality equipment. It's all
It's all the same stuff.
stuff.
we had said that they're all replacements, not like buying in addition. It's
Right.
things that were,
Things that need to be,
Used often.
right.
okay, guys, so let's go down to the 3s. Now, the 3s, while we're looking at the 3s, let's see where we're at. This is probably the meat of the 10 million that we're talking about. It's about $7 million worth of items to preserve and protect the property that's already in place.
Well, let's see.
Okay, so we got, for Belfork Elementary, remove asbestos pipe insulation, in buildings 2 and 4.
It's in good condition.
And
It's
we-
maintained under our O&M plan. It's something.
And we have it in for our
like to do.
CIP for capital improvement program for year 2, it's for the following year.
So if we receive additional funding from the county or the state, then we could possibly do
Right,
that.
well, I'm gonna take this one out then,
Yes.
because it's not creating a problem yet.
Anything under a 10 roof, I know last year we knocked those out, and then we went to anything under a 5, or excuse me, over a 10, over a 5, and just to see what we had. So if you want to go ahead and take those out, and if we have any all-site roofing.
I'll make that a
if we have an
3B.
emergency, then we would try to address it with all-site funds.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going down to 10 then. So the cafeteria though is a 9, so that's still, okay.
Get that on the next slash.
Yeah, it's 180,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, new carpet media center. That's at Dixon High School. It's in bad shape, you were telling me earlier, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Want to leave that in there?
For right now.
Okay. HVAC equipment, air handlers, condensing units for the U-Haul, Dixon High School.
It's in your CIP for year 2 through 5.
Right. And we're looking at phasing it in. You want to try to phase in? Or can you phase it in?
Oh,
Oops.
it's cheaper when you do it in bulk, when it's all bid out. If it's something that we need to handle one at a time, a onesie, twosie type thing, we could always do that. It's just most time when we do that, it's when it's quit altogether. And so we would not have any heating or cooling. And, we could knock it down, say, to 100,000 right now and see if we could pick the worst ones, and then as we come through the next,
I do feel like heating and cooling though is an issue for some of the older schools, and it impacts so much as far as learning and school culture and things that,
Sure.
that's a big concern, I think, bigger than probably what you realize, just because we're so used to having heat and cool, and when the rooms aren't the right temp, it affects lots of things.
Oh, we hear about it too.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
All right, for Hunters Creek Middle School, replace the HVAC equipment there. For the gym air handling unit.
it was specified, and we actually had funding for it 2 years ago, but it was in a pile with Southwest Middle Schools. We were gonna try to do both gym units because they were both in bad shape. But all the funding we had, Southwest Middle's was worse, so we did that one. But when it was all bid out, the prices came back over $50,000 for one unit. So that's why it was there. Can we leave it right now, and then if we have to do something later, we can take it out?
Okay, Jacksonville High School painting.
All come out of all sites, or?
Well, no, I mean, you see the price on it? I mean, we can cut it down, but only bad thing about when you start moving things to all sites,
It would
we're
take
not-
the whole, it would take the whole.
it'll take all of it, yes, sir, to
Yeah.
Jackson High School.
So
Because I think,
But we can cut it to 100,000, and then we'll go as far as we can.
I was gonna say, because all sites, didn't we have
It's
painting in there
300
too?
Yes,
right
sir.
there, right above you.
Yes, sir.
The second
It's
one down.
300.
Yes, sir.
Second one down.
At all sites. On the second under all sites.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Third one, yeah.
No,
Third
I'm wrong.
one,
It's like the
painting.
third one.
300.
Right
The
there.
third one,
Yes, sir.
300,000.
It's contracted for 4 schools.
Yeah.
Right. But you're saying that Jacksonville High School is gonna cost more?
I'm telling you, Jackson High School, it's gonna cost more for all the buildings out there. It's gonna cost more than 85,000. It's gonna cost,
All right, so what,
like I said, cut it down to 100 for right now. We'll go as far as we can at Jacksonville High School,
Try to pick up the
and
rest
then we'll
next
pick
year.
it up with all sites. We'll try to.
pick up the rest, as one of the schools on all sites too?
Yes,
so
sir.
That'll supplement some of the funds. All sites usually, it's about $85,000-$90,000 per school to repaint the whole school. Jacksonville High School is more than the others.
So it's just like your high schools, you got your gyms, other schools, you got multi-purpose rooms, but the high schools, you got your auditoriums, you got your gyms, your locker rooms, it's a lot more space, but y'all know that, so.
Okay, and so number 11, Jacksonville High School vocational building
Just
roof.
Put it off. We'll
3B.
try it next year.
I'm gonna- Scroll so it shows up. Okay, the drainage for stadium, field and track, that's been an ongoing issue.
That's a long issue.
Needs to be addressed, but And here it says 30,000, in the capital improvement program, it said 75,000 for the following year.
We've done some work out there already, so that's why that price is 30,
You wanna finish that up?
if possible.
You guys
So
are-
I mean, I think it's needed, they can cancel games when it needs.
Okay, Morton Elementary School D building, seven most urgent roofing project, we'll leave that in as it is. HVAC equipment at Newbridge Middle School, cafeteria and the classrooms above the cafeteria. And, right, I know in the capital improvement program, we had said we were gonna try to split the cost through multiple years.
We could try that, we could go 75 and then see what we can do.
Try 75,000 and get what you can first and get the worst ones first. Northwoods Park Middle School, replace carpet and media center. I think we all would agree with that's
Is there,
pretty
Is
rough
that
shape.
something that we're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
be able to get through the insurance?
what we're trying to do.
So it may be another funding source possibly, if the insurance comes through.
Yeah, I think we've also asked for it in FEMA though too, so. Tell you what we'll do there then. Let's put that as another funding source, okay?
About the, ban,
Something like the roofing one, is that due to hurricane or no? That's just already just needed,
Just-
like the,
it's
it's
just
just
old.
needed, gotcha.
Right.
and we may have had some damage
Right,
there,
but
but
they
a
will
lot of it was
cover
just
it, so.
patched. Our
Same thing with that course.
Okay, you
same
got
way the course, was that something that insurance may
Yes, sir.
cover?
Yes, sir.
So
We changed
possibly
it
another
to
funding source.
which one for,
the one underneath it.
in the course room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna put that as Northwoods Park Middle School HVAC equipment. One of 2 units for the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria, we only have one that works now,
Let's get it fixed.
and we're down to one unit.
Yeah.
And one unit will hold it, but, because they were very oversized, but we really need to change that one out.
Okay,
So, you know, if we had to take out one of those, we take out the gym this year and then maybe make it a 3B.
that's fine. Okay, Parkwood Elementary, metal overhangs covering the sidewalks.
That's something we keep passing on. We need to get him back to bullet and
Get it
address
done.
it.
37,000, okay?
Probably not, but we'll start.
Starting point.
This is a starting point. Cause up front by the office is gonna be a
Okay.
mess, so.
All right, Parkwood Elementary, replace HVAC equipment for 2 classroom buildings.
We could try to do one. I mean, again, that stuff is old, it's just, you know,
It's
been there
working,
since-
it's working right now, but it
It's
needs,
running. It's one of those things where
when it breaks, it breaks.
to do things correctly would be repair it right before it dies and get as much use out of it as possible. And that's what we do. It's running, but it's one of those things also in commercial equipment, when something quits and you try to buy it, after you bid it and try to buy it, it's a delivery time of 6 weeks or so. So it's not something that you can fix real quick without bringing
Okay.
some type of external HVAC equipment in and piping it through the windows or something on a tractor trailer or something. If we
Okay.
could do half this year.
All right, that's what, okay, Queens Creek Elementary, the gravel road,
We need to defer that.
defer that.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's not a necessity right now.
And we can,
We
Okay.
can put more gravel on the road. I mean, that's a normal maintenance thing.
okay,
And I
We
think
can't-
the emergency
We can't
vehicles
connect,
will be
we
out
can't,
there.
we can't connect the backside right now anyway.
Mhm.
So, that needs to be,
Because of swells and drainage and maybe having to move the fence on the baseball field and the practice field that they have there, it would,
in playground.
okay.
If I can more.
Okay, Richlands High School main ditch in front of school needs to be reinforced.
I mean, it's
It's getting worse.
Is there?
Pretty soon it
Okay.
will be on their softball, on the
Baseball.
baseball field.
Yes, sir.
And,
Well, it's a,
Bulkhead or?
Yeah,
I
how
gotta
would you
remember,
fix it?
I gotta remember that we're on camera and I don't wanna joke around. But I do see the humor in this, just by saying, well, that could be a man-made dugout. Now, nobody take that serious. Nobody take that serious, guys. But,
a dugout, yeah,
Yeah.
dugout, yeah.
but no, that's something we need to take a look at.
Yes, sir. Can we leave that in there right now
Yeah.
and then?
Drainage and conditions at the rear of the gym. Okay, at the rear of the gym, there are 2 mobile classrooms and several storage containers where we have some drainage issues.
Is there?
It needs to be leave that in.
I think we need to leave it in, and it
It's
may,
pretty nasty back there.
it, and that affects everything back there, his parking, his,
Okay.
everything is.
Okay, track resurface. Okay, that's where we have, we're gonna look at rubberized tracking and also
We
take
have
care of the
drainage
runoff areas and
we have
drainage issues.
Issues as well.
That's probably where the biggest cost is right now, is the drainage issues.
Yes, sir. Well, the track, rubberized track.
Rubberized track,
That's it.
all right.
I mean, I think the drainage has to be addressed before
Yes,
we
sir.
can address the track.
You want,
Yeah.
let's see if we get the drainage addressed first, and maybe next year we'll look at,
Okay.
okay? So how
Because
much would drainage would be
If
about,
we're doing work right there anyway, on the big,
right?
it may be that
All-
can be worked as a process, yeah.
All of the drainage on the inside of that track needs to be replaced.
Okay,
Cause we've gone back and patched.
Fill it in.
We're chasing it instead of all right now.
as far as the drainage, cost to do the drainage without the rubberized track right now, what would we be talking about?
I mean, you can put 50 for right now and we'll go as far as we can with it.
Okay, so, go ahead.
I'll say if we're not rubberizing the track right now. do we s-
Rubberized track is 130.
No, yeah. If we're not rubberizing the track right now, it's still having crack issues on top of that. Do we still need to do a temporary resurfacing of
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I think that'll be part of the patching when we do that.
Okay. The paint, we can pick up Richland's paint in all sites,
Okay,
cause that's one of our scheduled schools. For the 4.
tennis courts, to fix them up. I'm guessing about 60,000, I may be wrong on that.
This will be a lot more than that.
It's gonna take more than that,
Yes,
just to
sir.
resurface them.
That's not a normal asphalt job, it's,
No.
it's because it has to be perfect, it's, our normal asphalt contract doesn't do that work, it's, we
Okay.
have to hire a specialty.
It's a whole drainage thing. and-
I'll go ahead and put 100,000 in there for right now, is that a
Okay,
good start?
yes, sir.
Brad? Do you think it needs to be there?
I mean, it's getting worse, but it's usable at this point, so if we needed to defer it. I
Well,
think
it
we
needs,
could.
yeah,
Well,
we need to do
my
something.
only hesitation would be, we put it off, but once we do get it back to full condition, he still can't hold a match there.
Right,
Still have the right number of
Right.
courts, correct?
They're able
Like
to
four, is
practice,
that right?
it's 2.
No, it's only 2, so it's,
Then let's take the money from the tennis courts and put it towards the track.
all right, well, let me ask,
And drainage and,
yeah, let me ask you this then, also. Jacksonville High School tennis courts, do we have to resurface those in the near future? I don't think I've seen it on
We-
the list, but,
We have gone out there and done patching and repairs. The cost
well, they
is
didn't
why we
play-
haven't gone up more. We
They
have,
didn't
I
play their
mean,
matches at Jacksonville this year.
do what?
I said they haven't been playing on their home courts
They've
either.
been playing at the Commons.
so that's the other thing too, we got some there as well. That I don't even think we're identified, so we're patching and playing
We-
those.
We've patched the ones at Jacksonville, but they need some more work done to them. But we haven't been able to because of cost and not having funding.
All right, Brad, so let me ask you this then, as far as the tennis court, seems how you're here, okay, you've got we're looking at, the track and the tennis courts. Do you want us to put more money into the tennis courts or the track?
I think at this point, because really we can't host matches either place.
Right,
Because the other track teams usually won't, like, I know we've had issues, they
Sure.
won't come run matches there. But I think the drainage on the football field has affected competition, so I think if we can sway towards that, getting that solidified first, I think I'd put that as a priority.
okay. All right, so try to move some money up into the track then?
Yes, sir. Take it to the 175 that was there, and take the 100,000 out for the tennis courts.
Okay. How about this, I'm gonna take the 150, 75, it's only gonna cost 25 more.
Does that get you back to?
That's what we had in there to start off with, 175.
Now, I wanna be careful though,
Yes, sir.
guys, when we talk about, this is an area that we'll run into a situation. If we rubberize the track, I mean, in other areas, other instances, this is where the booster clubs and the century clubs have helped offset the cost for rubberized track. Okay, if we do it for this one, then are the other high schools is there gonna be a concern with the other high schools? Because they've invested all their money into it when they could invest it into other things too, and now we're rubberizing tracks, and they've already spent probably close to $250,000 to maintain a rubberized track. You see what I'm saying? See where I'm going with
I think we need to
that?
look at equity, I mean, just,
And that's where I've gotta be careful on that, because then is it fair for one group and not the other?
Is it worth a discussion with all of the high school folks,
Right,
maybe together?
right, and then,
can we just focus on the draining and getting it?
resurfacing.
Yes, resurfacing, and then hold the rubberizing part till later when high school athletics gonna come up with some common terms.
And we just need to, because once we do this, once we start this, what that means is that every 7 to 10 years, we have to go in and invest that money again, just like band uniforms.
It's every 10 years for the rubberized tracks.
So I'm gonna put that as a 3D.
Rotation. We do some of those.
So I'm gonna put that down to 75,000 so we get the swells and
Yes, sir.
then get the resurfacing of the track, but it won't be rubberized right now until we can get some better clarification.
Okay.
That's the only way we can do this and be equitable across the board.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense.
Okay, Richlands High School, Hunters Creek Elementary School connecting road,
What is that heritage?
or Heritage, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's a good connecting road.
Yeah, yeah,
Gravel around the sides.
It's a bypass.
yeah, we got a bypass, we're doing our own.
If you're doing it for that much, yeah. You need to talk to the DOT.
Yeah, we got a deal for you. All right, this year OCS installed speed bumps,
Is there?
Concrete around them.
and drivers are going around the speed bumps in the grass. So we want to put some bollards on each side of the speed bumps to prevent traffic. Would that be a work order type issue?
That's what we were just discussing and stuff and all. I mean, it's something we can work on.
It wouldn't even have to be that big.
Just bigger speed bumps on the side?
Probably bright with color
We have to
too.
put posts there
Yeah, I know.
and paint them and then concrete around them so that they.
Okay. All right, Richlands High School storage building, several wooden storage buildings, we had talked about that, I think that was, looking at trying to bring it down to 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
We all in agreement with that? Vocational building, 10th most urgent. Roofing project, the gym, 5th most urgent roofing project, so they're all in there. Cafeteria and auditorium, 6th most urgent roofing project. HVAC equipment, replace heat recovery unit for auditorium. That's been identified in the CIP for year one too, so I know it's a need, but where do we stand on that, Dusty?
And it works as it is. You know, it's just, the
How
system
old
can
is it?
cool and can heat, that just does not work.
How old is the unit?
Whenever they built the auditorium, probably back in, oh my goodness, it's, I was gonna say
I think 90s.
95 or
Yeah.
maybe, or something like that.
Early nineties.
It's a good 20 years old.
So 20-plus years old.
But the thing is, they don't manufacture it anymore. And
You wanna leave it in here for right now?
we can leave it, as, just understand, we probably will end up.
We may have to come back and address it again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sandridge, install hot and chilled water pumps.
We've purchased those, and we just have to hire a contractor to go in there because of piping, you know, all that piping have to be changed and a lot of welding done. And that's probably, that might even be a low price.
Okay,
I think they only have one pump for their system pump, and every other school pretty much has two pumps. If one fails, we can still cool and we still heat. If that school, that pump fails, we have no heating or no cooling in any other school. So that's one of the things that we feel like we need to keep in there.
okay. All right, Silverdale Elementary, the B building, is the fourth most urgent roof project. So we'll leave that in there. Silverdale Elementary cafeteria and A building is the third most urgent roof project, so we'll leave that in there. Southwest Elementary, hot water heater for cafeteria,
It's on its last legs.
okay. Southwest Middle School, replace old bleachers at football field. All right. And it's something that you're saying that it's needed right now? Okay. Southwest Middle School, treat entire school for termites?
And that won't treat the entire school. It may treat half the school.
Is that something we ought to pull out operational? It's more of a service?
It is, if we have the funds for contracted services.
Thank you, Dusty.
Yes, sir.
Good answer.
All right, let's see, Southwest High School, original building is the most urgent roof project. I think we've got bids going out for that right now, and we're looking at,
That would be an alternate, so that would, you know, they would have the hurricane damage part, and then that would be
Right.
bid as an alternate. And we just need funds to be able to pay for it.
okay,
So the alternate's the 300?
That would hopefully cover the rest
Cover
of
about the
the
rest of it.
1990 bridge, because this was done in 1990,
Yeah.
and the original building.
so about half of it was covered through the Hurricane Florence, and the other half still it's been patched and repaired over a period of time, and it's time for it to be replaced. Okay, so replace 2 of the 3 chillers at Southwest High School?
We probably could drop that to half, let's say 130, and see if we could just do 1 chiller this year.
Okay. Replace drainage system at Somerset Elementary School. So,
Do you think, Daniel, that if, when we start doing that, you know how that sidewalk is busted up, they're talking about, do you think we could use that as a one project?
Is there?
You gotta combine it.
Yeah, we can try.
Do you think $50,000 is enough?
I don't know. We won't know till we get in there.
so basically, we're talking about right in this area here, you said?
The sidewalk is back over, but the courtyard is.
Courtyard's out front.
All
there.
those areas in the front, around the
Right here.
buildings, in those 4 areas,
right there where your hand was at too.
Yeah.
It floods in there.
Okay. And so what were you saying?
Right below that, there's a sidewalk repair.
Mhm.
That might kind of go in. We might could take the $15,000 out and see if we have enough funding
To go with that.
Okay.
and you can make that a 3B in case we don't have the funds available. Maybe we could look at it again next year.
Okay. Okay, purchase hot water pumps for boilers. And that's for Somerset Elementary.
We could possibly do that out of maintenance, do onesies, twosies, and not replace them all at one time.
Okay. Okay, Swansboro Middle School painting.
Move that to off sites.
Swansboro Middle School 2 Annex, second most urgent roof project. We'll leave that in there. Swansboro Middle School Annex, replace HVAC system.
Let's take that out.
Take that out.
If you can, and put it at 0, make it a 3B, and we'll see what we can do.
When you say see what we can do, just keep it going until,
Well, it's working now. We may be able to do something out of maintenance, or maybe we can do something
out of some other funds if possible.
possibly.
Okay, Swansboro High School paving and drainage. The road that leads back to the cafeteria is overrun with rain most of the time, needs some drainage improvements.
They just want, because we picked up the other part, they want us to pick up the inside part. Leave it for now, we'll cut it out later.
But anyway, what we're talking about though, just to make sure I understand what we're talking about it.
The same area where the fences are at.
So the same area that fence, that's right in here?
You got the driveway, yes sir. From the back of the auditorium all the way up, when it rains, that area there,
Talking about right in here?
yes sir,
I know we got swells right in here.
yes sir.
They fill it.
to
They
address-
fill up with water,
Yeah.
yes sir. Because all your water runs down to where the fields are at the bottom down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it backs up all through there.
All right, where we at? There, so we're saying leave that in there for right now?
Yes sir,
Okay. About 50,000?
yes sir.
And some of these things, I know the numbers sound like they're high, but we have to realize is we have to get the civil engineer involved in it. We have to get DEQ involved in it, and by the time and meet certain requirements, when we start looking at swells and ditches and stormwater retention and drainage, it gets into a lot more complicated, it's a lot more complicated than just digging a ditch to let things drain. We're not allowed to do that without going through the proper approvals. Swansboro High School HVAC system, HVAC works poorly in most areas of the building.
It
Is
needs to
either-
stay
Okay,
if it's all possible. And that may be with us doing the maintenance or doing the work on that. 'Cause it's falling apart, it's rusting apart.
okay. Drexel Middle School, hot water heater for cafeteria.
Take that out. I think we've already replaced that one. I think it finally let go, and we had to replace it a month or two ago.
Yes sir.
Okay. Okay, White Oak High School. Let's scroll all the way up there because this, to get up to the top line. Okay. Resurface main parking lot. Okay, they had a lot of damage during Hurricane Florence, post-Hurricane Florence. White Oak High School was used as the staging area for a lot of the drying out and disaster recovery contractors that we had. If you ever drove by it after the storm, it looked like a village out there with a lot of trailer trucks and everything else that, did some additional wear and tear on the road. So, resurfacing, leave it,
For right now, we'll leave it. And then we'll see how far it goes.
okay. Stadium press box,
It would require an engineer or possibly just a whole different section to put a hard-sided type enclosure. We could replace what was there maybe for $10,000. We had to replace north sides a couple of years ago, and it was like $8,000 for a partial replacement of it.
yeah. And
But
one
that
other,
would be with vinyl. It's just, the roll-up, it's like a
Right.
tarp, basically, on the awning. An awning company actually makes it.
right, and so it won't really create a safe and secure area for the sound equipment that's up there then.
Yes, sir.
It's not
Is it-
lockable.
Is that sound equipment portable, or is that something that's hardwired into this?
Some of them are
Most of
portable.
them are in boxes
Yeah.
that you can move in
They
and out.
can move in and out? All right. So if we look at 10,000 to keep as is, I mean, to repair,
I think we could fix it for 10,000. In fact, that may be a FEMA or an insurance.
right?
So maybe other funds may replace that.
Well, let's leave it there for right now until we know. It's not much. And we
I think
need to
last
be
meeting
taken
we
out.
said it wasn't on the list, or we didn't think it was.
All right, light pole replacement at the baseball field. Replace with hollow field poles, replace hollow top field poles and remount lights lower and install metal caps. I guess we got stuff going into the poles.
Just the tops of the poles are just gradually weathering.
If we capped them,
We might, for $15,000, we might could actually, instead of replacing the post, we might could just drop the hardware. We just had all those, the lights looked at and replaced. We just finished doing that on all the schools
so
as
just
far as our normal
refurbish
maintenance.
the poles and cap them.
We would have to refurbish. We might could drop it halfway and see if we could just realign the lights and refocus them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got curriculum arts. Broken seating needs to be removed in the small auditorium. Removed and replaced.
Are they using the smaller auditorium for programs, do we know?
I think they
Yes.
are.
So they're
Matter,
using it,
and the district's moving their
Mhm.
stuff over there now during the summer for orientation, instead of doing it north side. The last 2 years, we've been going over to,
so they use that
Right.
auditorium and the big auditorium at the same time?
yes, sir. One
You
for
got-
classified, one for license.
Can we do it with any other kind of seating, like movable, well, you gotta be careful moving
No.
seating, because every three you've got to be tied together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right,
I feel like that's broken, we probably need to fix it.
take it to the lobby furniture. Okay, I don't think their lobby furniture's ever been replaced. I don't know how much of it there is, though. It's not a big lobby.
That's not a big lobby. They don't have
It's
all-
All they
kind
have
of
is
a
just a little bit of
couple
an
of
office
chairs.
area.
I think it's 4 chairs.
Yeah.
4
Let
chairs
me
and a
ask,
table.
do we have,
Yeah.
can we pull that out of furniture?
Have to look at the budget to see how much, school board trust is gonna be.
Mm-hmm. What about for next year's furniture?
Pretty good.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that's other funding sources. Okay, three gas trains and supplies. We've had that on the list for a while.
If I mean, we could take that out of local funds.
Okay. Same thing with hot water heater then, if you're doing the same thing?
Yes, sir. For that part of it, yes, sir.
Yeah, so running the natural gas, those natural gas lines right there will take out of operational funds.
Which we're waiting for them anyway.
Mhm. Okay, playgrounds, replacement of force playgrounds, Belfour, Summersill,
Yeah, we took it down to 3.
Commons Elementary, yeah, take it down to 3.
You've already got the cost down to 3. So.
Right, okay,
Yeah, if we can, leave it, and if we have to get it 2, we can.
okay. All right, transportation, replace the loaner van,
I would like to keep it, because as of right now, there's no van to give out for anybody if they need one. If they have to go somewhere to meetings or whatever.
how often is it used?
I mean, we loaded out quite a bit, the one that I used to have, and going to classes. I mean, either way, we could cut it out, or it's just, we won't have a van to loan out.
All right. Well, we just need to take a look at it, maybe the next iteration, we'll
Okay.
go back and readdress
That's
it
fine.
too. Fuel polisher,
I'd say leave that.
I think that'll pay for itself.
that'll pay for itself the first
We
year.
can use that on the ground tanks.
Okay, transportation facility generator.
You can take that out. I have a small one to run the fuel pumps, but we just run off the nozzles.
Is there any kind of a grant or something that we may could look into?
We're looking at that also with the county as some other grants that we can look at.
Because, especially with us supplying the county, and other agencies with fuel.
Yeah, and we do have a backup that's, well, it's not a full generator. Backup can get the fuel out though, so we have the capability of doing it anyway. So, would be nice though is during, after a post hurricane or post critical event, to be able to pull it out quicker, but we have ways of doing it. And then diesel laptops, diagnostic computers.
Cut it in half.
Okay, all sites, architect and engineering services,
We tend to use 100,000 each year,
okay.
but you could drop that in half, the lighting.
Painting, we talked about that, we've already kind of
Needs to
Maybe
stay.
it's
addressed,
staying.
we need to stay, that needs to stay in there. Energy control upgrades,
You could.
energy management for several projects,
I
several
mean,
systems.
Stuff is working now, it's just, we can make repairs out of maintenance funds if need be, or we could leave it to see where we're at, and then we could take it out on the next.
Okay. Fencing all sites, 75,000.
That's what we're spending on average each year.
Paving, all sites. These ad hoc paving jobs.
We can spend 10 times that in paving, sir.
Mhm.
So just saying.
And we got 166,000 already at White Oak that we've identified. And some more in elementary school.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, so you wanna leave that there for right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Modular classrooms rebuild.
Probably can drop that in half. Because, a vast majority of that comes out of our repair parts and materials, out of our local budget anyway.
Yeah, and one of the things too, guys, when we start cutting it in half, it's easy for us to say cut it in half, because in the back of our mind, we're thinking, well, is there another way we can do this, okay? But because we are being taped this time and stuff, and maybe the community doesn't know that, let's kind of explain why we're looking at the cut as well too. If we're looking at it because we got maybe possibly other funds, or we have to defer something, it'd be a good thing for the community to know as well, you see what I'm saying?
Because of,
We've done this process so many times that it's easy for us to just skim through it. Well, sometimes I need to slow down a little bit, make sure others know as well.
historically, the mobiles, you know, they don't last like a permanent building, you know, and so a lot of wear and tear. Because of the hurricane and all the repairs that we're making now, you know, we're actually, it's gonna help us in some ways to cut some of our prices, and hopefully our insurance company is gonna take care of some of those costs. So a lot of these units that we thought we were gonna have to, they're upcoming that we're going to have to repair, they're in the process of being repaired now. So we can drop that and probably still be okay.
And while it sounds like a lot of money for repairing, one of the things we have to realize, we have approximately 221 mobiles in the district, okay? Some of our mobiles go all the way back to the 80s. So we have some mobiles that are 35 years old, 30, 35 years old. The cost to repair them sometimes is gonna be cheaper or more reasonable than replacing them. Because when we repair them, we put in quality materials, and so they'll last, and so they're getting closer to being, I wouldn't say stick-built buildings, but they're pretty close to being stick-built by the time we get done with them. They're still mobile classrooms. Not only that, if we pull one mobile out to replace with another one, then in certain areas, in certain municipalities, we have to go through special permitting to get that done. So sometimes we may even be restricted from putting a new mobile classroom in if we take one out. And so in that process, we're actually limiting the amount of classroom space we would have on the campuses. So that's why a lot of times we look at these and say, well, can we rebuild them or can we replace them? Sometimes we replace, a lot of times we rebuild just because they're already in place, and to meet the permitting requirements, it's better for us just to repair what we have. Does that make sense? Okay, replacement window air conditioners. Okay, that's for all sites?
Yes, sir.
10,000?
Yes, sir. That's not a lot of units, but that's,
Okay. Roofing and renovations, we got 250,000 there?
that's our catch-all, when I was talking about where we make and drop some of our roofs that we
Like school for middle
anticipate.
school.
That may get us through if we have, if we have to say, okay, we've got to do something now, we can't wait another year or two or three, because something may happen, the roof may split,
Yeah.
and we may have a major problem. So that would really be nice if we could leave that in there at the moment. And as we go through the roofs again, we may end up having to drop roof 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because historically,
Most
we've had to do
roofs.
that, but we may be able to, if roof 6 failed, we may be able to go in and do it with all sites. And also that lets us buy shingles and stuff, because sometimes we have to do, again with mobiles, we may have to use shingles for mobiles or shingles for a media center. So if we can leave that in there, would be a big help.
Okay, we got all sites, site improvement. You may want to explain what that means to everybody.
Site improvement covers a lot of things, like if we had to buy more culverts, say we were to go to a school and start drainage, and the budget here does not cover everything, we may have to pull out a site improvement to finish the job. I mean, maybe we could finish the job another $10,000. So this is kind of also a way that we can do unexpected work that's not listed on here, and also be able to maybe to complete work that we don't have funding. If, for instance, like we were looking at, I think Swansboro High School. Well, no, where we cut one of the units a while ago at Northwest Park Middle School, the auditorium or gym. If it was to fail, that would be some funding we could actually go in and buy it this year and be able to do it. So it's like our little insurance policy.
And another situation too would be, for example, if
Concrete. Walkways.
Concrete walkways is another good example of that. The other thing too is, if we have a major storm event that comes up, and then all of a sudden we have a washout. And so then we've got silt in these creek beds or something like that, DEQ is gonna come back and say, well, you have to get rid of all that silt in the creek bed. Well, depending on the situation, that could be anywhere from $10,000 to $200,000, depending on the severity of it. So these are some of the things that we use that for as well.
Yes. And it got us through now. We're using some of these because of hurricane. We're having to do the work and then try to get reimbursed. But we have to have funds to be able to write a purchase order. So if we don't have any funds, we can't write a purchase order to do the work and hope to get reimbursed. So it's like I said, it's kind of like a little insurance policy to get us through.
It's $150,000. You wanna keep that there, or?
If at all possible, yes, sir.
All sites, carpet squares.
We have a continuous program of replacing flooring, and all these items here, from the carpet squares right on down to the vinyl sheet goods, is what we use to purchase stock that our staff replace floors.
And it's not much in comparison to the rest of it. We're talking about what total of maybe $50,000 or $60,000. And the other thing people have to realize too is, including the mobile classrooms, we probably have over 4.2 million square feet of heated space that has to be addressed continuously. That's about 88 acres of buildings that we have to take care of. And so that's not much when you're looking at just the ongoing replacement, ad hoc replacement that's needed when something comes up.
And, yes, so.
Okay, county office HVAC equipment.
I mean, let's pay it a 3B.
Make it a 3B?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Custodial equipment,
That's equipment that's already failed, right?
Is it?
Replacing.
so all this stuff right
And
here,
they're not very expensive either,
Yeah,
but
so
they're
just-
mandatory.
just leave these, yeah, we're not spending a lot of money on these things right here, so we're talking about floor burnishers, four floor burnishers, about $22,000 total, automatic floor scrubbers, cleaning systems, the KVAC no-touch cleaning systems. Daniel, would you mind explaining what that is?
CIVAC is a machine that we can use in the locker rooms and bathrooms where we can go in and clean, sanitize, and disinfect. It's not a pressure washer, but it's set up the same concept. It goes up, it's below 150 PSI, but you can go in there and spray without touching anything, the chemicals on all the fixtures, the walls, partitions, everything, and let it air dry, and the bathroom will be disinfected completely, or kill any germs, varroa or staph infection, anything that's going on. But we use these machines in the locker rooms and bathrooms.
Yeah, we share them across the
Yes, sir.
school system.
Yes, sir.
So it's probably a good thing to have, guys,
It's needed.
especially with the elementary
Yes,
kids.
it's very much needed.
So.
They were used a great deal during the hurricane.
Yeah. All right, and then we have vacuum cleaners. Okay, purchasing some vacuum cleaners there too, approximately 4 of them, or 5 of them.
5 of them.
Noble floor sweepers, old lawn equipment.
That is, each year, we have to replace weed eaters and chainsaws and whatever that we burn up, and so that's for us just to replace the equipment that we've failed during the year.
Okay, smart 32-inch vacuum cleaner. Turbo brush vacuum attachments, which are part of it. So a lot of this is vacuum cleaners and water pickup machines. with the rest of the custodial equipment that we're looking at trying to purchase. It's not much in the scheme of things. When we're looking at that, we're talking about a total of, what, 90,000 total, to replace all the equipment that's used to support all 40 facilities, 39, 40 facilities. Or the other side of it, over 500 buildings. We have approximately 281 buildings, even though we have 38 campuses. I don't know if you guys know about this, 38 schools and the central office and transportation. That equates to, the campuses have multiple buildings. We have 281 buildings, I mean brick and mortar buildings. And we have 221 mobile units. So we're talking about over 500 buildings that we're trying to maintain with this money. Okay. All right, so we're down to, got the threes done. Let's do the fours. I think this will go a little bit quicker. I don't think there's as many fours. And so we got Bell Fork Elementary.
If we don't, if we can put that off to a 4B,
For lighting,
well, the reason we would have to do, we want to go ahead and get the pipe installation off those pipes first, and if we were gonna put it off another year,
that's right,
and, cause that project would work in conjunction with the other.
okay. Blue Creek Elementary playground equipment. It's a new piece of playground equipment. An older piece was dismantled and hauled off this year.
Did we talk about that, and is that one of the ones, that's not one of the ones to be replaced, will we have 3 that needed?
No, we added all their new playground equipment, I think, year before last. And they kept an additional piece there, and since then that piece has failed. So with them not having, they have playground equipment if we need to take it out. But that, like 25, that's just one piece of equipment, that's not, that would just be one unit, one small unit.
So we already took out the old piece and we need to, so that's the other thing too. You know, we're just trying to maintain what we have, maintain existing level that we have. In that process, I'd probably say leave it in until. And we could see
You
if we
said
got,
they just got new, they got some new?
Yep. We replaced, I'd say about half of their playground.
now, let me ask you this then, if we replace half their playground, do they have as much or more playground capacity now than they did before they replaced it? You see what I'm
It was
saying?
about the same. So I would say this, since they've had to remove a piece since we've installed playground equipment, they're probably down.
Okay, so, and their enrollment stays pretty high.
Yeah, that was my only concern.
So I would probably say let's leave that in there for right now and go back and look at it. Clyde Irwin Elementary School, tinting for the media center windows.
I mean, we've talked about it
For years
it's
and
been
years
for
and
years
years. I
and
think
years.
that's something that's needed.
Yeah. Just leave it for right now.
Okay. Dixon Elementary School gym floor replacement.
Was that damaged by the, yeah, was that storm
That's
damage?
that's just
No.
from years,
Wear and tear.
years
Years
of wear and
yeah,
tear.
it's just carpet in there right now, so.
Yeah.
It was from, I was there.
We can defer that to next year if you want to.
Okay, Richlands High School auditorium stage lights. I put that in there. I think Emmett and them went out and looked at them right now.
They say that it's all working. There were a few sockets that had to be replaced because they're halogen lights. And we've replaced, I think, the majority of those. He said he was gonna get some more, so that the system actually works. It's just, it just needs a little bit of repair. So, I mean, we've done it for the most part with the work orders.
You want me,
And just in the couple of years that I've been there, we've noticed, and I haven't seen it since they fixed it, just dark spots on stage. We can't light the whole space. So there's pretty
Right.
consistent dark spots throughout. I have not gotten a chance
I
to see
don't know
it
if
since then.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It may, we could evaluate it, maybe see if they just need more heads or something, I don't know, and if the system is compatible with adding more.
Okay. All right, well, what I'll do then is, we're gonna go ahead and, to be determined, we're gonna take a look at that then, okay? And see what we can do. But until then, I'm gonna probably have to, because I don't think we're not down to the 5 million yet. I'll probably wanna take that, we're at, okay, Southwest Middle School. Build a concession stand with bathrooms for the soccer and football field. We've identified that in the capital improvement plan for year one.
And it's been funded before, but we were never able to do it,
Okay,
so that's,
all right. This is something that's been identified in the past. 75,000,
I think that'll be enough.
okay. All right, Southwest High School. Sign slab tables, 32 tables, 10,000.
You wanna move that into the all sites furniture?
Okay. Swansboro Middle School desks and chairs,
I'm gonna do the same with that one.
all right. Is that something we can try to work on this year? Do we have it already?
I can see,
Okay. Okay, Swansboro High School classroom to consultation rooms. I think everybody agreed that that was something was needed over that area. And basically with all the events that are going on, and they need to have some private areas to have some consultation with students and parents and stuff. And they don't have that available right now. White Oak High School rubberized track,
Drop it down to 30. We already discussed the rubberized
Yeah.
track parts.
asphalt resurfacing. White Oak High School marquee addition,
Thought we felt like the whole county would benefit.
I think so. I think there's
Due to
certain
location.
areas that,
Yep.
within the county, with the
The
certain
location
schools,
of it.
that would benefit, and I'd like to see us start working towards that. One of the areas would be Richlands High School area, I mean, Richlands or Heritage Elementary School, because there's a lot of visibility on Highway 258. Swansville Middle School, a lot of visibility on Highway 24. So some of these, I mean, it'd be nice that we had some of this digital signage out there, so people could see what's going on as well. Some of the other locations, like a Southwest Middle School, well, it's a community neighborhood, so you don't really need as much of a digital signage there because you don't have as much throughfare and traffic.
Well, in case you didn't notice, sorry to interrupt, but like Richland at Heritage, because of the school change, we updated their sign, which was magnetic, because it fit the purpose, and it went along with what Richlands High School had, but we incorporated what the town had did with DOT. And so if you look at the DOT signs they have for the town, Heritage, it all matches up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a digital sign board approved by the town board last year, and just haven't had funding to get it done, but I've been working with the town on a plan for ours.
Okay. Then we've got for White Oak High School, replace the kiln, because it's constantly defective. Can value a hood and not. Is that something we need to take a look at first and see if it can be fixed or repaired before we do that?
Our electricians have been chasing it. They've
Still
been
causing
replacing,
problems?
yes, sir, they've been
Okay.
replacing different parts and having to go back and replace others, so.
Okay. In all sites furniture, I think that's something that we talked about with the 25-year replacement. We're still,
Can we go back and look at one?
sure.
I'm sorry. When I was reading about Dixon Elementary, it also said about there's some wrinkles and tripping, and it mentions a strong odor, which I can say it's been a while. I haven't been there. This is my third year away, but it has been an issue for a while, I do believe.
Okay.
So,
You want to put that back in for right now?
I would, unless anyone objects. I'm just thinking we did the
What-
middle,
those are-
we did
you're 30 or
Dixon High
35?
School
35.
media and center
35.
carpet. But I do think something, I don't know about changing it and not doing carpet, or if we just go with new carpet, something, but I do think we probably need
Sure.
to look at that.
Okay. All right, guys, so now we're
Such a
down.
large population
So
of
it goes
students
back
as
to
well.
A, 4A?
Yeah, change it back to
Yeah,
4A.
4A, yep. Okay, so now we're gonna take a 5-minute break, but we're down to $8.5 million, okay? Our next goal is about $3 million. $3 million more in cuts. So, let me ask you this, before we take the break. Let me go through this part right here.
And I'll be reflecting too, if
Mhm.
the bleachers, Southwest Middle, I mean, again, just having come in the door and with the shift with athletics anyway, I can see something, that could be something at this point, maybe be put off for another year. If that,
Okay, we'll take a look at
I'm
it.
just not sensing the urgency in it right now.
Right, okay. Well, I appreciate that, Jocelyn. Now, one of the things for 1As and 2As for mandated by law and safety and security, we're already at $2.7 million. Okay? So, the rest of it, we need to cut down, we need to cut about 2.7 million, down to 2.7 million if you want to keep the safety and security mandated by law as it is. We can go back and look at some of these things, but I think the mandated by law is going to be a little bit less. And that's something that's mandated by law, so. And also, once we go into safety and security though, these are issues that we've addressed and we recognize there's a concern that we want to get addressed as well. So a lot of the slicing and dicing that we're gonna be looking at now will be coming from category 3 and category 4. Okay? So before I try to go back into slice and dice anything from mandated by law or safety of the students and staff, I would like to go ahead and review those first. Okay? And let's take a 5-minute break. We're gonna need one. All right, well, now that we're back, during the break, I was informed that I'd messed up. And what happened is that part of the 2As, when we went through the 2A review initially, there were some of them that I didn't miss because I started down at Meadowview Elementary School. And so some of them, I didn't scroll all the way up, and we had a handful of items that were identified as 2A that we hadn't reviewed yet. So what I'd like to do before we get started on that is just go through that quick review as well. So this is for safety and security. Belfork Elementary, we had cameras. Okay, replace damaged cameras, install more cameras.
Yep, so the damaged cameras are the part that's in process. The additional cameras would be the 10,000. That would be, that's about $1,000 a camera. All their cameras are on the outside. They don't have internal coverage, which is opposite of some of the other places. But 10 cameras would be 2 in each hallway, would get the whole campus covered.
Okay. Blue Creek Elementary sidewalk drainage. The sidewalk to the 4th and 5th grade building floods during rain in 4 or 5 inches of water. We had that in the capital improvement plan for future years. Is that something we need to look at right now?
I'm not real aware of the problem that he's having there. It may be that 4 or 5 inches of water may be actually being blocked by the, can we just make a work order on this? A lot of money. Maybe put that as a 2B and put work order there and see what we can do as far as maybe alleviating that issue. since it is already been recognized in the CIP.
Okay. All right, another Blue Creek Elementary fencing.
I think we're already working on that, because we recognize that, and we talked to Dusty about it. Would that be an issue? Again, they'll have to have gates there, but that's something that we're gonna try to do out of this year's funding.
Okay. So we'll take that out. Carolina Forest, install permanent fencing barrier around the water-filled ditches loading to onto the playground.
We could possibly just put fencing where the walk is onto the playground. So as students pass by there, it's fenced in, and then they could just play further away from the ditch. I mean, it's just it's a swell. It's not a deep ditch. And they may get a
Okay.
ball or something kicked in it every now and then. I don't know. I mean, that's an option if we did not have the funding.
Okay, because what we're looking at right here, let me see, make sure we, so we're talking about this ditch right here, right?
All the way down.
All the way down. So instead, just run fencing,
We could put some fencing there, like I said, so when they cross over to go out on the play field, of course, or just go down one side.
Go down one side.
Of that area, and just, because when it was measured out to get the cost, the whole area was measured, all the linear feet, and that's what would be, what was it, $27,000? But we could go probably for, $3,000 or $4,000, we might could get enough fencing put in there just for those areas if you thought it was reasonable at this time, and see how it goes for next year.
okay, is this something we consider a safety issue? I want to readdress that too.
She
Okay.
says they have issues with it.
Do you think we need to do more than that this year?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's something we could talk to her about, because I think that was her concern, was having to cross it. So, I mean, that may take care of.
Where the playground equipment is, put a fence down past those areas?
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the walkway here.
Well, the
Yeah, right there,
walkway, and then
So if you do
turn
the
left,
walkway right
maybe.
here, Well,
Go-
well, well, let me ask you this. What would happen if we put another walkway right here too?
I'm not sure
And the
between
reason
the
why,
units,
the reason why I'm saying that is because maybe because the kids are coming in, if they're gonna go to the playground, the majority of the playground is over this area right here. You see what I'm saying? So they can walk from this side of this part of the campus, they can walk over here and come across here. But on this side, if they're over here, they can just come across this way if they're going to the multipurpose room. Or would that providing additional walkways, would that eliminate the desire to run across the ditch? Well, not for elementary kids, I know that. What am I saying?
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
if we add another walkway, then we need to fence two areas if you're doing
Okay.
that. If we fence in, if we do a really nice job of fencing that walkway, I
Okay.
feel like, we centralize them to one location, we can kind of force them to
if
cross.
we were to cross over on both sides of that, go to the left on the playground side, up a ways past where the playgrounds are
Yep.
established, also go down to the right,
I agree.
past this playground, and,
Okay.
and see how that works, and see how she feels about it.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Okay, so.
we
is
could
that-
probably drop that down to 5,000, and then
Okay. Okay, 4 additional cameras. The Carolina Forest still,
Yeah, she's got 4 specific spots that she was concerned about.
okay. Is that 5,000 or 4,000?
Take it to 4.
So I know the others, we identified it as,
Yeah, I think my only addition there was, she was concerned about, some parking lot stuff that could be, a little different.
Right, all right, Musco lighting at the stadium for Dixon High School. That's the
last one, right?
That's the last field that doesn't have adequate lighting. We've got it identified as a safety issue, but it could be a 3A too. I mean, either way, we're looking at it.
I mean, has their lighting caused anything to be canceled? I mean, are they still able to play at night over there?
They have, I
Yeah,
think they
as far
have
as I
been,
know,
yeah. As far as I know, they have been. Like I said, but it's the last one that doesn't have the.
Was this
Musco lighting.
the one that was the concern that if they don't have adequate lighting, they can't host the
They can't
playoffs
host
and things
playoffs.
like that?
That's
That's,
right.
that's what I was told.
That's one of the things they can't do. Without adequate lighting, they can't host the playoffs, playoffs. You can't do half at a time, it's all or none of it,
Right.
something like that. So, we'll leave it for right now. Dixon High School covered walkway for Dixon High School students. That's that walkway going from the old annex gym, now that what used to be Dixon Middle Schools, and coming across. And that's needed. Hunter's Elementary awnings,
Heritage.
Heritage Elementary awnings. Okay, the outside mobiles need awnings over the doors. And so they have approximately, what, 17 mobile classrooms right now over at Heritage Elementary.
It still is not gonna prevent them from getting wet going,
Right.
leaving the building or anything.
Ours don't have
I'm
them.
saying most of them do not. I don't, do we have awnings on any of them?
Some of them.
A couple of them?
Very few.
Ours don't.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna change that to, let's do it 2B for right now. We'll just go back and review it later, next year. One of the things, I'm gonna change that to a 2C. One of the reasons why I say that is with the new schools being built and coming online in August of 2021, a lot of these mobile classrooms will be going away as well. Okay, or maybe relocate, they won't go away, they'll be relocated to different locations. Yeah, they never go away. So, they may change that in that process. Heritage Elementary, one long breezeway, back of the building to the outside classrooms would be beneficial. We don't have them in a lot of the others.
I know, I mean, I agree that they're needed and that they, you know, but I think we get into that equity thing also, as far as one school gets them and one doesn't,
And plus, they may be going away
Right.
in a couple of years. So if that's okay with you guys, I'm gonna change that to a 2C. Hunters Creek Middle, there we go. Cameras. 6 additional cameras,
Again, this was just 6 specific areas she had identified.
okay. And then Jacksonville Commons Middle overhang for car riders and mobile classroom area. We had just talked about the others not having canopies. So change that to C for equity. Okay, Jacksonville High School, additional security cameras.
I would say let's make that a 2B.
And can you clarify why we want to do that?
Yeah, it seems like every year we add a couple at that campus just to, it's so big, it's tough to cover. But they're definitely ahead as far as numbers compared to a lot of schools. And we're getting ready to add additional security there. They're coming on board with the S2 a lot faster, so,
Okay.
and the new intercom system.
Here's a big, the 800-pound gorilla in this process. Repair the walkway awning for Jacksonville High School. That's that big walkway again. I know over the years, we've been getting everything off of it as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
Sooner or later, we're gonna have to tear it down and put something else in there. We got $100,000 for it right now. I'm not sure that's gonna cover it.
That's not gonna cover it.
No.
That's just for
We make it-
repairing.
We make it hire a contractor to come in there and, do some partial repairs of some of that stuff, maybe.
Let me ask you this, can do a partial tear down and start replacing piecemeal?
We wouldn't get very much done. $100,000 is really just a drop in the bucket, but it might get us a little ways, or it might let us do some repairs enough to keep it from falling apart. You know, worse.
What I'm curious about is if we spend 100,000, are we putting money into something that's in 2 or 3 years we're gonna have to take care of anyway? Do you see what I'm saying? $100,000 is a lot of money if we're gonna have to replace it in 2 years. So if we put the 100,000
Is
in,
it, I mean, is it?
do you
I mean, I
think we
guess
can
it's
get it
They're
running?
using it now. I mean, what are the main concerns? Like,
We're getting pieces and parts falling off of it.
The problem is a lot of the wire.
We can look at
was up
it
there.
possibly once
So
the
if-
stuff is off, to have someone look at it and see if it can be renovated. And maybe it can be, I know we have done a lot of work trying to get the water out of the top of it.
Right.
And we've succeeded, for the most part.
Because if we put that money in it to renovate it, then what I would hope is that would be good for at least another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'd hate to put 100,000 into it now just so we
They were
can
doing something
look at it
with
2 years from now.
and it was capital outlay, but for like 6 to 10 years out?
That was for $250,000. So I didn't know if we could just take sections off it out and put a canopy in there and just build it. You ever hear that Johnny Cash song about building a Cadillac? This is before you guys' time, I know it.
One piece at a time.
Yeah, the person worked at a Cadillac factory, right? Automotive factory, and Johnny Cash had this song going, how he's got a Cadillac, but it's a 56, 57, 58, 59 Cadillac. And what he's doing, he's taking parts from the factory during that time to build his own Cadillac. So,
I think we probably can keep it from being dangerous, by doing some work orders and maybe have someone evaluate it. Maybe it could be renovated or in such a way as to maintain for another 10, 15 years.
and one of the things too is if through this process too, realizing that nothing's guaranteed, but I know state legislation's looking at some kind of bond for capital improvements, albeit new schools and deferred maintenance. If that came in, that's one of the things we'd probably have to address fairly quickly.
So they could use a 6 and as other funds.
We could leave it as a 6 or a work order to, if we put a 6 there, oops, sorry about that. We're gonna put a 6 there, but,
If it work orders.
work orders to ensure safety. How's that sound?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we finish those up. Okay, so let's go back.
No,
I-
do the Meadowview, bridge and railroad ties.
Okay, Meadowview Bridge and Railroad Ties. Thank you, Marie. All right, and so for Meadowview Elementary, if gates are installed on the fences around the back of the school, we'll need bridges or concrete walkways installed to allow students, staff to get further away from the school during drills, or
And are they talking about the 2 playgrounds back in the back right there?
that's not, wait a minute, that's not it.
Across the street.
It's not as big as I thought it was.
So we're down here, that's what we're looking at, right? So what we're saying is we put the gates. If gates are installed, the fences are on the back of the school. We'll need bridges or concrete walkways installed to allow for students and staff to get further away from the school during drills.
She was talking about
we
getting them out
update
of those
the map on
playgrounds across the road. You see where the playgrounds are at? Right now it's fenced in. She was wanting gates on the back side of the playgrounds. And if there was a fire or a bomb threat,
To
they could
access
go
the
out.
fire lane.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's where she was talking about having to go across the road there.
Well,
Cause all that area is fenced in back there.
oh, you're talking about back here?
Yes.
I think if
She's
you-
talking about the
can you
playground.
Update the map, maybe, because it's on a 2004, maybe we can, it might show
There we go.
the fence better.
Right now, cause we've gone out there and talked with her.
Mhm.
There's if you see there's fence.
There's
We
fence
already go
around
here.
these.
Yes, sir.
Yep,
Can I come over here?
yes,
I'm
please do.
short, so. Hey, right now, everything's fenced in, so if there's a bomb threat, if there's a fire, these kids here can't go out this way. We were gonna put gates in back here and back here, so that way they can go out that way if there was a fire or something going on at the school.
And so,
She's wanting a bridge and she wants gates
Get
on the
across
back
the
sides
swells.
to get across the swells.
And the gates we take care of with our fencing.
Right, we can do the fencing.
The bridge, we probably need to buy a couple sections of ramp.
Yeah.
Put it
Across
on
there.
ramping with some
Well, let-
rails and set
okay,
across
now are
this.
these swells impassable? I mean, what, are they deep swells or these are something that, do you see what I'm saying?
Meadowview is a very wet area.
The reason why what I'm asking basically is, okay, we're putting money into something that could be, would happen never, or maybe just once, if there was an actual fire or something like that, so, this isn't happening multiple times a year. This would be happening in the event of something happening.
Yes, sir.
So are the swells passable, or do we need to add additional money just for that one event that's gonna happen in 10 years or so? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm just asking, is it a good use of money? Or is this something that can be, or is there other workarounds in that process for that event that could occur in the future? So I just need input, guys. I'm asking that question because I gotta pay that.
We can take care of the gates with we'll take care of the gates with all sites.
But you
And
see what I'm
don't worry
saying?
about the
And-
bridge
and-
right now.
and- and
Yeah, I
Principals,
think the
please,
gates-
give me some input
So,
too.
I mean, I
because-
think if
The
it's
gates
just
take it out,
gates,
yeah.
if the building's on fire, I don't want you running towards the building to go around.
get
Right.
I'd rather
yeah.
take the quickest path out, so I
Right.
think installing the gates, if we can do that, is the best solution safety-wise.
Right, now the question is also, because it's wet sometimes, will they actually be going, you want them to walk through or put a bridge over there?
I think in the emergency event, that's not gonna be a huge
That's
concern.
not gonna be a concern.
Right,
Right, at that point,
So
now,
I
we
feel
can
like
give
the
them
gates-
access out.
Getting away, yeah.
yes, the gates.
Okay.
The gates are the biggest issue, and we can take care of that at all sites.
And I'm not, like I say, guys, I would like to do everything for everybody,
Right.
but at the same time, there's this,
Limited.
okay, installation of bridges, so we'll look at that as,
We can just say, it's other funds. 'Cause we
Other
have our-
funds. okay, removal of railroad ties around the playground.
Well,
Okay.
that's a current issue.
Right,
They
right,
need to
right.
be replaced.
Yeah, I think they got to come out.
Okay, so we'll leave that in there. Anything else, Maureen? Do I got them now?
You have them all then.
Okay, so now, we're gonna go back to the 3As and the 4Cs. And we're at $8 million basically right now, so we're looking at approximately $2.6 million to reduce some more before we get to that 5.4.
Why did you say 4C?
Whoops, because I messed up.
Okay, I just thought I missed something too.
Okay. So. Okay. How do we want to do this? Roofing projects,
You just drop everything that's
'Cause
above
we-
a 5 down to 0 and just, make it 3Bs, and then we can, try to do things with all sites funding if we can.
Which ones did you say, 1 through 5?
No, 5 through 10.
5 through 10. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
drop 5 through 10,
5 through
keep,
10.
keep 1 through
1 through
5.
five.
is that for all sites and repair as needed then?
And none of those are ones that are getting worked on this summer.
No, sir.
Let me see if I go through the rest of
This one,
these.
Morton Elementary,
Which one?
Morton Elementary, so.
Yeah, right there.
2 up from there, yeah.
You guys about 5 of them right there, so that took that. That took out a big chunk right there.
Mhm.
So we're now about. Okay. So, Blue Creek Elementary playground equipment. Still said we needed it. Before we go any farther, let me go to my friend. All right, Mike, talk to me.
What's that one? Loaner van.
Van.
Go ahead and do away with it.
All right. I know you had mentioned, you kind of alluded to that earlier, that's why I was knocking on your door.
The laptops, I will try and do that out of my budget.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Clyde Elementary School, tinting for media center windows. Talk to me. I saw you raise your hand.
Well,
We could paint the windows.
No,
no,
That side.
no.
Oh.
we're not gonna paint windows. All right, we'll leave that in there. We're not painting windows. Gym floor replacement, 35,000. I know he's been asking for it for a couple of years.
It is kind of,
And it would help him out. I agree with that.
I
Okay,
mean, I almost think that's a 3A, just about, it just,
it's a 3A. Okay.
and not just a nice,
And,
a good thing to have, it's just,
okay. Okay, new carpet media center for Dixon High School. I'm not hearing anybody say that's still not, that we can do anything with it, so I'm leaving it there. Dixon High School air handler equipment, we already dropped it down
let's just see,
for the U-Haul.
can we leave it in for right at the moment and just see what we can.
Okay. Hunters Creek Middle School, the HVAC equipment for the gym handler unit.
this. Let's leave it in, please, for right in the moment.
Okay. Jacksonville High School painting. We got 100,000 in there because it's gonna cost more than the
That's what normal,
90,000.
school. Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's needed. Drainage for the stadium field and track, that's needed. We already took out the roof there. New Bridge Middle HVAC equipment for the cafeteria and classrooms above the cafeteria.
Didn't we reduce that already?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
reduced it, we cut it in half basically.
I would, let's leave that one, and then, no, wait, I'm thinking of Northwest Department. Let's take that out. It's in better shape than some of the others.
Okay, I make it a 3B.
Yes, sir.
Take that out. Northwoods Park Middle School, you said is in pretty bad shape.
Yes, sir.
Get that taken care of. Parkwood Elementary, metal overhangs are rusty and leaky when it rains. Okay. Parkwood Elementary, replace HVAC equipment.
You could, cut that in half, and then we'll see if we can do one unit, or see if we can do 2 units with maintenance and installing. Because typically
Okay.
labor's half of the job.
Okay. So now we're at Richlands High School, main ditch in front of the school reinforced.
I think we need to leave that.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a
That's part of the
Get ready to
situation.
lose field.
No dugouts. Okay, Richlands High School drainage and conditions at rear of gym. That's more of a civil, is that something we could put in the site work? Cover
Right,
it-
we
cover in the
can
site work?
start with there and then go, see how far we can go.
Cause I know we got quite a bit in the site work right now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, so that's gonna be in all sites.
And we may be able to pull some of that civil engineering out of our architect and engineering.
Okay. Track resurfacing, we said 75,000 because we gotta take care of the drainage
Drainage.
issues.
Yeah.
And
Storage buildings can wait.
storage buildings. 3B. Of course, now you notice Brad didn't say it very loudly because he was on tape. But he said that could wait for another year.
It can, it's fine, it's fine.
All right,
That gym needs a new roof.
yeah,
Yes.
that's number 5. I don't think we want to go down any lower than that. Cafeteria auditorium, HVAC equipment for Richlands High School. Place for the auditorium.
3B. Let's see what we can do.
Still working on it right now, right?
No. The system works. The heat recovery does
It's
not. So it can air condition and it can heat, it just cannot recover.
Okay. All right, Sandridge Elementary, install hot and chilled water pumps.
Take it out, and then what we'll do is we'll see what we can do out of maintenance,
Okay.
out of our contracted services maybe.
Okay, Silverdale Elementary roofing, that's for
Really
number
need to
3,
keep
you
those
wanna
if
keep those
possible.
in there. Southwest Elementary, hot water heater for cafeteria.
That's the one you said was on its last leg.
It's on its last, it's either we're gonna pay for it out of this or pay for it out of something else.
Don't say
Just
that.
whatever you, it's a fuel, if it was a gas one, we would be good.
He heard something else.
Take it out.
Yes, sir.
Sounded like he heard something else. Cut.
We got it,
You know, when I gotta cut $2 or $3 million, and you say, well, pay out something else, I'm going, that's an easy answer, guys, I hate to tell you this.
Yes, sir.
It's not an easy, and I know we're making light of it, and it's nothing to take light of, it's just that we have a very limited amount of funds that we can work with, and that's just getting to the 5.4 million.
Bar above. Or an eye there, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, Southwest Middle School.
Well, we had already talked about the bleachers, that I thought that could wait.
Okay,
That's up
Up
one.
one.
Yeah.
all right, so. I'm gonna put that as 4B.
Oh, wait, I ain't seen no discussion saying it.
Okay. All right. Southwest High School,
It's a one. so
that's a
it's-
1, that's gonna stay. Okay, Southwest High School replaced 2 of the 3 chillers and
It's needed.
took it to 1 chiller, it was needed. So. Summersill Elementary, replaced drainage system. Something that's,
How, on the grand scheme of things, how does it compare to some other jobs, other schools?
You didn't take it out, take it out. You just put B
Can we
next year.
put that
next
in-
year. I mean,
put
it's
that in the
way
site?
year.
3B.
3B,
3B.
and we'll do it next year.
This is where it starts getting ugly, guys. Classrooms to consultation rooms. Something that's needed. Let's go through one more pass of this first, just to make sure, okay? Swansboro High School paving and drainage.
We'll put that off another year too.
You think that's something that Brandon can take care of as far as just cleaning it up and try to do some maintenance to that storage area, that big storage pod thing?
No.
So what are we guys saying?
Work on that. Take it out. So take it
All
out.
Yeah.
sites,
Yeah, we're gonna try to do a work order.
and all sites. All site, that site improvement code.
Okay. Okay. HVAC for Swansboro High School. Sorry about
Could
that.
knock it down to 50, and try to do 2 units instead of 3.
Hey, the next one, cut it in half.
7.5.
Yeah, at least. And then we'll just see how far we go. If I have to pick up some in all sites, it'll just,
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Is it falling apart?
We're on the tractor trailers and stuff like
The stadium press box enclosure for White Oak High School. Okay, we said we were just gonna replace the vinyl on it right now because, so we cut it down to 10,000 already. It needs to be replaced. I mean, the vinyl's in bad shape.
A lot is missing.
There you go.
It should be something that the insurance company should pay for. It should be funded
Is
by
that,
another
is that
source.
identified by any of them?
Can we make another claim?
Let's leave it at 3A then until we can actually get some kind of,
Okay.
confirmation from them. Rubberized track, it said, we're looking at instead of just resurfacing.
resurfacing, that's it.
Light pole replacement on the baseball field, we already dropped that down to 15,000 because we're gonna realign lights and, refurbish the poles. Marquee addition, it's a nice to have.
Well, we take the light poles out and leave the sign in there for right now. Cause the signs would be more bang for our buck than the light poles.
Okay. Okay, broken seating in the auditorium and the Cultural Arts Center. If it's-
Cut that in
if the-
half and we'll just start and put,
Go as far as we can.
go as far as we can, and then
I'll
we'll
take it
go
down
from
to
there.
take it down to 20,000. Replace the kiln in the art room. You guys already looked at it, so it needs to be replaced.
Yes, sir.
Playground equipment, we got 3 playgrounds. I know we took it down from 4 to 3.
Maybe take it down to 2.
Okay. Do you know which ones we'd be focused on then?
Jacksonville Commons Elementary is kind of at an emergency need.
Okay.
I'd probably drop off Summersill and keep Belfork. Summersill purchased some equipment on their own this past year. They're still in need, but I think Belfork's a bigger need.
I'm just gonna leave that 4 there so everybody knows that we did cut it. Transportation, Mike, you just went through yours. Fuel polisher,
I'd say we need it throughout the whole
Yeah.
school system.
I agree.
I think so. And you hit the laptops already. All sites architect engineering services, we fully utilize that every year. And with all the civil work that's going on right now, because of the drainage and issues and stuff, we're gonna need that.
Yeah, we'll need that.
Ceiling and lighting, we cut it in half from 100,000 to 50,000, still need that.
Yeah.
Probably leave that there. Painting, 4 entire schools is 300,000 plus the additional funds for Jacksonville High School. If we don't paint them, then we get out of that rotation and we'll never catch up again. Energy control upgrades,
You can remove that, just make it 3B. The stuff works as it is, we'll make it continue to.
and if we see any additional savings from energy savings, we can look at applying it to that. Fencing, we have 75,000, all sites for fencing.
Drop that to 45, because we got other funding coming in for some of our fencing from the storms. That's been identified by
Okay.
MKA and
Furniture,
You have to have that, it's every 25 years.
yeah. Paving, we got $250,000 in paving. I hear dead silence.
every year we spend more than that
I know.
in paving. And the paving's just like the painting, we were so far behind, we're just trying to catch up and stuff, so.
Okay, modular classroom rebuild. Rebuilding modular classrooms.
You could remove some more of that, and we're gonna do what we got to do. You know, whether
Okay,
we
I'll-
take it out of local funds or capital funds, it's just,
Thank you, Dusty.
yes, sir, team player.
All right. Replacement of window air conditioning units, that's,
Same
Same
way,
way there, if
same
we
way.
take it out, we'll make it work.
roofing and renovations, that's, we,
think
seeing as
we
how
need
we cut
that.
all the others now, I think we need to
We
keep
need to
that
keep
in.
that in there.
Yeah, I agree.
And site improvement too, 'cause,
Same.
again, we may have one chiller quit, and then and that's gonna take most of that, so.
Than just the general stock right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Custodial equipment right there, so. Guys, now how do we cut $1 million more?
Well, I'll give up the 75 for a concession.
We're still a good ways away.
Yeah.
All right, before I do anything else, guys, I wanna save this.
Yes.
Cause I would hate to go back and watch all the tapes again, just to add everything back in again, that wouldn't be fun. All right, so, what we're gonna do then, let's go ahead and, look at the 1As and 2As one more time, then we'll go through the 3As and 4As. Again, remember 1As being mandated by law, and the 2As being, Safety and security. Okay, we got cameras, we all agreed, we got some of that in process, I don't,
Cut in half.
we can provide some,
Yeah, something started.
Could we do that fencing there?
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. And Carol,
They're not without.
okay, the permanent fencing and barrier. Dusty, I'm gonna change that to a work order, because it's just 5,000 for fencing,
Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. You heard us. All
Okay,
right.
yes, sir.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, additional cameras for Carolina Forest,
Cut it down to 2. I think I can probably try and
You
get
take
their
that,
parking area
yeah, and
covered.
and that fencing, you can,
Zero
okay,
it
you
out
can
now.
zero it out for the work order.
yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, the Musco lighting system, it's a big ticket item there. It's the only athletic field, the football athletic field we have, Will, that, that doesn't have the Musco lighting system right now. So they're the only field that, can't hold,
Playoff game.
playoff games. Mhm. So we wanted to keep that in there. Now, we did have it identified for the following year, but at the same time, and it's one of those things, it's all or none. So, we can't do a piece of it, so we'll try to keep it in there for right now. Cover for walkway at Dixon High School Annex, and that's needed. I mean,
We had to make a choice, so we tried to delay the lighting for 1 year, but the kids walking across there and being wet.
that's gonna be the most important thing. Yeah, I hate to do that.
Thank you, Will.
Steve's not gonna be happy.
I know.
We'll have to do what we can. But it is on next year's, right?
It's on next year's.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try anyway.
Okay, Hunters Creek Middle School cameras,
I'd say cut them down to 2 as well. They've got pretty good coverage. But
okay. Movable railroad ties, that's needed, because
yeah, we gotta get those out of
that's
there.
a safe, is that something can be done this year somehow? I don't know if we have funds available for it or not, but,
We'll take and see,
Is that
but we
seeing
don't.
if our guys can do it?
Our guys would be putting it in, yeah, that, we would just be buying it and our grounds crew installing it.
okay.
I think we can get the stuff cheaper.
That was just priced out of a catalog, an online catalog
Yeah, I think
sections, I don't,
through the company we use we're replacing with, I think we can,
So can you
I
buy it? Can you buy this stuff this year? You got money to buy it?
we don't have that much left, but
if we could
Let
get
me
it
price
cheaper than
it
that,
out.
then we probably
Put it
could do
for-
it out of this year's budget.
can you put,
Out of
for
all, what's left
8?
of all sites or something.
I think I can do better than that though, but worst case scenario, 7 or 8, I think we can do.
I heard another thing.
And we may be able to take it out of this year, yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, and I know we joke around it, but trust me, all this conversation we're having going back and forth, it's gonna come down to that point anyway. So I'm just trying to get to the
Take out the next one, we'll do it at all sites.
additional parking lot, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Queens Creek Elementary, security cameras,
Take it down.
the,
Let's start with 5.
Wrong spot.
oops, what's that? Hang on. Where did I do that?
No, you're in the one below it.
Okay, gymnasium bleacher replacement, that's needed.
Yeah, that's a struggle.
Guys, it really is needed. Hate to say that, but we've had people get injured, and I want to get that taken care of. Barrier fence at the rear of the school,
It's definitely needed that close to everything.
is that something we could pull out of all sites? I don't know. We just want to keep it. Well, let's keep it for right now, it's only 10,000. Southwest High School, rails on home bleachers. That's one we said we'd come back and look at.
You could, anything we do is an improvement, so I mean, if you drop that to a half of that and we try to, or a quarter, and we'll do what we can do. And,
All right, so we'll have to take a look at it, see what we can do, even if we can just get a portion of it taken care of. That would give some people that need the additional help, stuff getting up and down there. Thompson paved parking lot in the back area. I know we got it gravel right now.
I don't know what our workers' comp looks like from that, but I mean, that would.
We've had a few, but it's not,
Take it out.
yeah.
could we just roll it? Have we got a piece of equipment, just roll it?
Put a different type of
Or-
crushed
or-
rock on there.
Or something just impressive.
They got some of their staff and they park their, well, they
Vans.
used to park their vans back there too, and then some of my staff park there. Not a whole lot of my staff does.
That we,
We
Probably
did the
about
paving,
maybe
what,
10,
last year?
15 cars
Thursday?
parked back there a day, maybe.
I did the paving with last year on the other
2 years
portion of
ago.
it.
2 years ago, wasn't it?
I paved that part probably
Has it been
2
2 years?
years.
Yeah.
tell you what, let's,
Take it out.
we may have other sources that we can pull out, maybe at the end of the year and stuff, if there's any remaining funds, like albeit transportation or something like that. I don't know if there would be or not, but let's see if we can pull it out of other funding sources if
See
possible.
if we can just maybe
Alright.
grade it a little bit.
Possibly.
Okay.
Okay, replace VCT tiles in classrooms. We already,
He said they're having issues, right?
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna leave that in there then.
You can do that with the money that we already have, money?
All right, White Oak High School sidewalk connector, that's pretty much something that's needed. I don't know if that could be done in the all sites or not, but for 15,000. I didn't hear anybody bite on that one, so.
There's a lot of traffic. So
Okay, safety and security for the NVR system.
take it out.
All right, we'll
See if
just
we
do
can do
that
it.
next year,
Well,
or if we can find other funds.
yeah, I think we might be able to do something.
Okay, card access system. We got $300,000.
I think this year we started with 2, and we were able to do about 10 schools, so if you want to take it down to 2,
Well, let's cut it in half and do 6 and then,
okay.
or I mean, let's cut it in half and see where we go from there.
Okay.
It may be, instead of getting everybody done this coming year, it'll be a 2-year process.
So we're getting into some of the bigger schools now. We did the elementary schools.
Mhm.
They're gonna get into multiple buildings and a little bit more complicated, so it may be less than,
Okay,
it gets a little bit more difficult when we start doing separate
Okay.
buildings and things like that, but.
yeah. And like I mentioned before, we were trying to focus on the ones, the low-hanging fruit where it was easy to keep
We still
everything
got some of
bunkered
those
down.
we can do.
So we'll just focus on the ones that are gonna be easier to bunker down.
Yep.
Because you'll get the most impact out of having the perimeter card access. The others, then we have to go in after that and work on those as well. So that's 150,000 there. Transportation,
That's maintenance vehicles. They need to be left alone.
okay. Activity buses, we already cut down from 4 to 2, which you need. Mulch, we need. Modular classrooms, ramps,
We're just replacing what's already there. I mean, if those are needed, I don't
Okay.
have to cut them off.
okay. Dumpsters are needed.
Yes, sir.
Mobile classrooms, that's at
That's by law.
520,000, that's by law. Unless I can find other funding for it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this in the 5.4. I'll try to find some other funding for it, I'm not sure I can do that, because this is a capital outlay expenditure, but, I'm not sure if there's anything else available, but I'll look, but we'll keep it in the 5.4. When we get down to 3, maybe I could do something different. Air scrubbers, this is for the air quality that we're talking about for all
We
the
could reduce
schools.
the cost and try to get them out of something else, because they are low, but you're not really gonna save a whole lot of money. You might,
Now, these are things that probably need to be in place there. All right, so now we're down to about 346,000 I wanna get to cut. Okay, let me save one more time. Okay, so here we go again. I'm gonna hit the roofing and renovations. We cut a lot out, there, that's an important item. What I'm doing right now is just looking at some of the bigger items. Then we have site improvements. It's a large item. Well, let's just go up to the top. Okay, guys, so playground equipment, Blue Creek Elementary.
I'd say take it out.
Okay. If we take it out, are we looking at, we're just putting it in for next year?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Clyde Irwin, tinting for the media center windows, take them out? Dixon Elementary School gym floor replacement. That's one that, I'd still say it's needed, it's in bad shape.
That's one.
I just pulled because the cost is ramps at the playground, 500. Two of those 1,000. Our guys can install it. I didn't knock that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
New carpet and media center for Dixon High School. And Daniel, you mentioned earlier that that's one of those that's really needed.
That's one.
HVAC equipment, and we've already cut that significantly, and we need,
Yeah.
I mean, it's working now.
okay, replace HVAC equipment for the gym handling unit at Hunters Creek Middle School. Is it needed?
It's working now.
Well,
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's in,
if it goes out, well, let's talk about this though. So if the gym unit goes out,
7 to 8 weeks.
7 to 8 weeks. If the air handling unit at Dixon High School goes out, 7 to 8 weeks. And which one?
They're a little smaller, that they are commercial equipment. The thing is, when they change the refrigerant, when the EPA stopped using, then we have to buy other equipment, and you have to buy new air handlers to fit the new coils.
Right.
So it's not just replacing that one part of it, it's getting a lot more difficult.
Okay.
I mean, it is working now, it's just if we're gonna try to beat the odds of it failing during the school year.
All right,
And that doesn't mean, we've already cut that one time, that doesn't mean if we select this unit as the worst one, we might have another one fail in a week.
I understand.
It's just trying to get ahead of the curve.
Okay. Jacksonville High School painting. And so that has to supplement because it's such a large school, that's on the list. Drainage for stadium, field and track, that's needed. Northwoods Park Middle HVAC equipment, replace one of 2 units for the cafeteria. And you said one of the units isn't working? Is that the one?
One of the units already failed.
So we need to get that fixed.
We could just knock that down to 35,000. And then we could use all sites to maybe,
Okay. Metal overhangs.
Yes, sir.
at Parkwood Elementary. Keep those,
We can cut it, but I mean, we'll just do what we can. I mean, cut it to 20 if you want to, and we'll see what we can start off with.
Parkwood Elementary, replace air handlers and condensing units for 2 classroom buildings. And we already cut it down to 1 classroom building. And it was identified that needed to be this year, so let's try to leave it. Richlands High School, main ditch in front of school reinforcement. That's the one we said needs to be done. Because it's eroding pretty quickly.
Yes, sir. Do you think FEMA can help us with that, because of the erosion that occurred during the hurricane?
I think at this point in time, I'm not sure if they can or not. We'd have to go back and look and see what can be added or not added. This wasn't identified as a Hurricane Florence issue at the time, and we've seen it eroding over the last several years.
Yes, sir.
So in the spirit of what
Okay.
the FEMA is for,
Yes, sir.
I think we're better off, we have to address it ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Okay, track surface, and that's where we're gonna fix that, the drainage first before we can even resurface it,
Yes, sir.
and that's needed. Richlands High School gym, the roofing, we wanna keep those roofs and build a concession stand, there's a 4B. See, I knew I was gonna get there.
Just reflected with downpipe.
All right, Southwest High School, original building roofing insurance, okay, that's done. Replace, Southwest High School replaced 2 of the 3 chillers, and we took down to 1 chiller.
Yes, sir.
Swansboro Middle School, 2 annex,
That's the 2 buildings
Yep.
there.
okay, Swansboro High School, classroom to consultation rooms. Is that something we could do at all sites?
Sure. That and an architect code, that might help us.
Okay. Which is, okay, HVAC works poorly in most areas of the building, is either extremely hot or cold. That's needed.
Yes, sir.
Resurface main parking lot, that's needed. And we already cut it in half.
And the rubberized track for White Oak, let's take that one out. Let's leave Richlands and Jacksonville in, since we have drainage issues at both those other schools. White Oak is draining right now. We don't have any water buildup as far as there. So let's defer that till next year and just do Richlands and Jacksonville.
Okay, marquee addition. Like to have it. Well, wait, I got the seats, we need to keep the seats in there, to replace those. Kiln needs to be replaced. So where are we at right now anyway? Oh man, we're so close. Fuel polisher, or safety and security playgrounds, we already took it down to 2 of them. Okay, transportation, fuel polishers needed, architect and engineering, ceiling and lights, painting. If you guys see anything that looks like we should be able to cut, let me know. Furniture, I'm gonna take that down to about 85,000. We're just going, we decided we're gonna do a 26-year replacement cycle now. Okay, paving is 250. Modular classroom rebuild.
You can knock another 25,000 off of that. You can take that out completely out, Steve.
What's that? What did I do? Did I take the wrong one?
He said 25.
He said
Oh.
take
Yeah,
25.
take 5 out, you gave that, you gave 25.
It was 75.
You can just take that out and we'll just deal with maintenance, we'll just deal with it under maintenance.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna, I'll give you a, all right, well, no, wait, I'll take it while you just said that, what am I doing?
Just make it a 3B maybe, so maybe it'll be considered next year.
Okay, and then. So we're $25,000 if we have to take something out,
How much do you need, sir?
25,000. So we got the gym floor, I'm gonna take the marquee out. Unless you guys have, what do you guys think?
I mean, I agree, it's nice to have, but it's not a utility.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it, and maybe we can find some grants or something later on to work out, to do some of this stuff.
No, yeah.
Maintenance electric.
Okay. All right, so if I want to take, I need 5,000 more. Main ditch is gonna be $95,000, you said?
No. How about make your,
Okay, you just put in 100,000.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
that's
it
what
was.
it was before, okay.
Yeah, if it stayed black, that's what it was
Okay.
before. Anything, just show you what we're doing here, real quick. Okay, so these are the original requests.
Okay.
And anytime I make a cut or a change to the original request, it automatically converts to red. So if it's black, and you see black right there, what you're seeing is what the cost of the original request was. What if I take it out of,
Take it out of JHS painting. 5,000. JHS.
gotta put it in.
Yeah, 73. Take it at 95.
All right, guys. So here we're at 5.4. It's close to lunchtime. Let's go ahead and call it quits today. Okay? What I'm gonna do in this process, I'll print this out, and get you guys a copy, or send you guys a copy of this. We're gonna have to look at cutting another 2.5 million out, just in case we only get 3 million, as like we did last year. I'm hoping we'll get more than that, but so we're gonna start looking at it, take a look at it, review it. I'll probably, I hate to do this, but I have to ask you guys to come back for another hour, okay? And it'll probably be sometime next week. I'll try to get with Maureen and schedule that, okay? Because we have to have the different options available to us. This 5.4 million, the reason why that number sticks out right now, and I think I mentioned it before, was with the old joint education funding formula, there was a formula in place that Capital Outlay would increase periodically, okay? And that 5.4 million is what, based on the existing, the past joint education funding formula, that's what it would have been. It would have been 5.4 million that we would have been requesting from the county. So I wanted to have that that bookmark right there, or that placeholder right there saying, this is what we can do with 5.4 million. What's gonna happen if we have to cut it down to 3 million? Well, this is how it's gonna impact us, okay? So I'll get back together with you guys. I know it took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but you guys did a lot of good work.
Can I just throw this out here and not say that, because I know it depends on everybody's schedule. We already have a principals meeting scheduled for the 9th, which is next Tuesday.
Which is gonna be canceled.
Oh, well, never mind then. I was gonna say, could we meet after that, but,
I
you
think, how about we do it, what's that?
know. Okay, that works for me, yeah.
It's already on the calendar? That'll work, and we could finish this up and knock it out on the
Okay.
9th? Y'all in agreement with that?
Yes, sir.
So what time again?
What time?
Meeting was scheduled for 8:30.
8:30.
You wanna do it at 8:30 and just knock this out quick? Like I say, we're at a point now where we're getting close to, it's gonna be rough going through the conversations, but we've been through this already several times. It should go pretty quick. Nobody's gonna like cutting, but at the same time, these are things we're gonna have to do and identify why we're cutting them. Okay?
Has the cancellation already been sent out or has it, okay?
Hasn't been sent out. I happened to hear, when I was over talking with Jody Ramsey and
Okay.
Dr. Collins, that it looks like they're gonna be canceling the principals meeting. If it changes, I'll let you know.
Okay, all right, so what time do you say, 8:30 or 9?
8:30?
8:30, okay,
Right here.
that works.
Yeah, right here. It may be a little tight, but we might be able to work it out. If not, we'll be in meeting room 2.
Okay.
I mean, did this work out okay? I mean, was this big enough for us right now? Okay.
Two people on there.
Yeah.
What page was he, Heatherly?
And Marine.
Yeah.
So we'll just get cozy. Okay? All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Next day, sir.